the commentary team of Kenny Miller, Pat Bonner, Kennedy Nidsan and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. The sun just beginning to set on a glorious late December afternoon on Tayside as the champions aim to win back-to-back games to ensure they head into Saturday's Old Firm top of the table clash with their noses still in front, while the hosts look for a first victory here over Celtic, as we mentioned, since September 1988. Tony Docherty's side have earned plenty of plaudits since returning to the top flight, but suffered a 3-0 reverse at Celtic Park back in September. If they can avenge that this afternoon, they'd end a number of unwanted records and could move above Hibs into the top 6. They need to win by a couple to go above them on goal difference. The guys have predicted a comfortable Celtic victory, but some of the Celtic performances of late must surely have given Dundee some cause for optimism coming into this one. As referee Don Robertson makes his way into the centre circle with the match ball, Celtic go into their huddle. Dundee all in blue. Look like they're going to be kicking us off. They will go from right to left as we look at it from the back of the old main stand. And Celtic in their green and white hoops, white shorts, white socks, will momentarily break out of the huddle and take their place for the start of this solitary Cinch Premiership game on this Boxing Day, Tuesday afternoon. The rest of the league in action tomorrow. We'll have all the best of that action live for you here in Sportsound, but for the moment it's Dundee against Celtic, and it will be the home side in the shape of Luke McCowan to get us underway. And Don Robertson blows the whistle, points the finger, and off we go. And it's launched long by Aaron Donnelly. Cammy Kerr gets his head to the ball at the edge of the Celtic box. Greg Taylor just trying to see that out of play. Is that going to be an early corner? No, it's a goal kick to Celtic as the ball just comes off Bakayoko from Taylor. But Dundee looking to get the ball forward early doors, looking to put Celtic under a bit of pressure. And what Celtic need to do is what they did to an extent certainly against Livingston, is play with a high tempo, high intensity early on, get the opening goal early doors. Otherwise we've seen in recent times that it could become an uncomfortable afternoon. It's Celtic trying to play out from the back. It's Scales who got his opening goal of the season, playing it back to Joe Hart, that terrific glancing header against Livingston to make sure of the points. Now it's Johnston crossing the halfway line, looks to clip it over Beck for Maida, but the young wing back does brilliantly, and then he has a wonderful flick in field for McCowan, and Dundee clear the lines over the top of Carter Vickers, who'll head back towards his own penalty area and then play it out to the right hand side to Johnston once more, who'll approach the halfway line. Carter Vickers now just inside his own half. He's got Scales square of him. He likes against passing it to him. He gets it back instead from Greg Taylor, who's come into that inverted wing back position that he still likes to use. Now Scales just inside the Dundee half. Dundee sitting deep as forward comes Celtic down the left hand side. That's a good ball in, looking for O'Reilly in there, trying to squeeze the ball through to Kyogo, but it's cleared away by the Dundee defence. Celtic beginning to put a few passes together. Johnston clips into the penalty area, away by Donnelly. Johnston returns it once more. This time it's Beck getting it clear. Cameron picks up midway inside his own half, can't keep it. Maida now for O'Reilly, out to the right hand side. It's a poor ball from O'Reilly, behind for the first goal kick for Dundee. 2 minutes on the clock. It's Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
And you can see already Celtic getting on the ball. You see Maeda on the touchline, see Palm on the other. It's driving the two wing backs of Dundee back. A lot of space on the sides, whether it be for Johnston or Taylor, or if O'Reilly wants to lift out in that kind of position as well. There's a lot of spaces on the outsides of Dundee, but I'm sure that's what Tony Docherty is quite happy with, giving the space up on the sides, as long as they're not getting penetrated with the quick combinations between O'Reilly and Kyogo. McGregor's kind of feeding it.
Carson's goal kick flicked on by Bakayoko. Zach Rudden will chase, but Carter Vickers nods it to the right to Johnston. Johnston onto the halfway line for Maida. Back with the Canadian fullback Johnston. Clips that one forward again. Maida and Bernardo both giving chase. Bernardo just tries to help it on to the Japanese forward, but comes off a Dundee body for a throw-in on this near side. Quickly taken by Johnston to his captain McGregor. Back from Bernardo to Johnston. That's a decent looking ball in. Shockness, he gets the clearance in, the Dundee captain, and concedes the first corner kick of the game to Celtic. Packy, a decent opening for the champions.
Yeah, they missed the first two headers, the long balls played up on top of the defence, and they missed those two, but they've got away with it, and they've been able to progress up the pitch. I would expect a lot more balls in behind today, little balls played behind the Dundee defence.
Palmer's corner from the right hand side, it's Scales that meets it at the near post. It's come off a Dundee head last though, according to the officials, and it's going to be out for another Celtic corner, right hand side, to be taken again by the Honduran Palma, whose deliveries from the opposite side I always think are so difficult to deal with, and that's what produced Scales' second goal the other day. The outswingers from the right perhaps not quite as potent, but he'll try once more, right footed onto about the penalty spot. That was a good ball, and it was attacked there by Carter Vickers. He just didn't get a clean header, and Dundee able to clear. Johnston picks up midway inside his own half, will turn it back to his goalkeeper. That was a chance, Packy.
Big chance, and you know, I'm surprised actually he didn't hit the target, because he's strong, Carter Vickers. He can hold people off, and it was a clear header, but it came off the side of his head when it looked as if he was right in the middle of the goal to get his header on target.
Palma taken out of play over on the far side. He's won his side a free kick midway inside the Dundee half. It's been a pretty bright start from Celtic in these opening 4.5 minutes. No goals yet. The free kick's quickly taken on the left hand side. It's Taylor getting almost to the byline. Ruddin's all the way back there to block it. Celtic pick up once more over on the left. It's Palma back to McGregor. McGregor with a couple of touches, then plays it short to Taylor. Taylor closed down again by Rudden. Spins away. Was he fouled there? The referee was in a good position and says no, but Dundee can't keep it. Breaks back to Donnelly at the edge of his own box. Short ball to Shaughnessy. His attempted ball forwards cut out by O'Reilly, but breaks harmlessly back to Trevor Carson. But we have had that intensity that Celtic and Brendan Rodgers were looking for in these early stages, Kenny.
Yeah, you have, and again you've seen that move. It's a pattern that develops with Celtic a lot, with Greg, particularly on the left hand side. Greg Taylor finds himself out, the ball gets fed to Palma, and he just one touches it for the diagonal run of Taylor, and it's a first time cross. Already you've seen that from that inverted position for Taylor, so it's been decent enough stuff for Celtic without creating that good goal scoring opportunity as yet.
Yeah, Carter Vickers' header was probably the clearest they've had, but he couldn't angle the header on target under a bit of pressure, and it remains 0-0 as Scales plays it forward from deep inside his own territory. It's picked up in the middle of the park there by Boateng, who's been a good loan signing for Dundee. Kerdy was making that point earlier to Tony Docherty, that some of the signings have been excellent, particularly perhaps the loan ones, and here's another one in Owen Beck, nudging it back to Donnelly. But Beck, certainly on loan from Liverpool, looks like he can play at a higher level.
Yeah, player in the middle of the pitch is Boateng, you know, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. There was a lot of good conversation about him too, also being an excellent player. He's on loan from Crystal Palace.
Here's that, yeah. Scales has it inside his own penalty area, plays it square for Carter Vickers. Dundee struggling to see much of the ball in these early stages as Johnston feeds it forward for Maida. Back goes Beck. Good turn of pace though for Beck to just see it out of play. And well, Kenny, you were speaking about him pre-match, Owen Beck. Packy, I know you're keen to see him as well, but he has been an excellent addition to this Dundee squad.
He has been, you know, I know he's on loan for Liverpool, but I can't help but kind of draw the comparisons between him and Andy Robertson. I think their kind of stature, the way they're built, the way they move, and he's shown me, when you seen early in that first touch of the game, the flick inside through his legs into Boateng in the middle of the pitch, and the pace that he just showed there to Livin Maeda. You know, he's got a lot of the tools that are required to play top level football. This could turn out to be a really, really good loan for him, and again, you're hoping at Dundee and for our game that he does stay for the remainder of the season.
Here's Maida looking to get the better of young Beck at the edge of the penalty area, but Beck does his job and gets a crucial intervention, and Dundee able to come away with the ball on the left hand side. It's Donnelly, he whips it forward looking for Rudden. Rudden just nudges it on there for Bakayoko, just to the left. Bakayoko couldn't quite take it in his stride as he tries to move it beyond Carter Vickers, picked up though by Johnston, who plays it calmly to McGregor on the edge of the box and out to the right hand side to Carter Vickers. Now it's O'Reilly, right hand side, just clips that back to the edge of his own penalty area to Scales, who's able to play it away to Taylor before Cameron can close him down. And now it's out with the left hand side, and it's Palma attacking down that Celtic left. Good ball into the box, away by Shaughnessy. Still Celtic trying to keep it alive, but there's been a shove in there, I think, by one of the Celtic players. and Dundee have a free kick inside their own penalty area. Bernardo, I think the man penalised there, and Dundee will have their free kick. We're playing 8 minutes here at Dens Park. It's all Celtic in these opening exchanges, but it's still Dundee, Celtic nil.
Yeah, it was a good counter-attack from Celtic. You know, they were deep in their own half. Scales using that left foot again, you know, looking comfortable, move as the pressure comes on. I'm looking at Lyle Cameron. He should have been probably up a little bit quicker on Scales, and allowed him to sort of kind of almost pass round him, and that then allowed Celtic to progress quickly up the pitch down that left-hand side, getting the ball into the box.
Alistair Johnston has it halfway line, right-hand side for Celtic. Almost 9 minutes played, no goals. Carter Vickers square to Scales, just inside his own half, out to the left-hand side for Palma. He's up against Cammy Kerr, back in the Dundee starting lineup, gets a good challenge in, but it breaks back to Taylor, out now to the left-hand side. And Celtic trying to create something from that left flank. Just at the angle of the box on the left-hand side, it's just behind our viewpoint. There's a stanchion right in the way of where the ball is for the moment, but it's still Celtic in possession. Looks like Bernardo going for the shot. That's not convincingly dealt with by Carson, but he manages to get it clear, and the offside flag goes up. Dundee were in possession, and Owen Beck asked why was he not allowed to continue as he made his way forward down the left, but referee Don Robertson had blown his whistle. It will be a Dundee free kick from inside their own penalty area. 9.5 on the clock. Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, that's frustration for Dundee fans, to be honest. That's that decision, delay until VAR comes in, then put your flag up. He didn't have to put the flag up there because we're breaking away down the left-hand side. But the shot from Bernardo, it was a kind of funny one for the goalkeeper because it took a deflection and it kind of looped almost, you know, up on top of him, and he had to kind of punch it away, slap it away.
Back with Joe Hart, the edge of his 6-yard box, plays it to Scales and out to the left-hand side to Greg Taylor. Tries the switch of play to Johnston. Good first touch from the Canadian, and out to Maida on the right-hand side. Beck just passes Maida on to McCowan. Ball forward from Maida's cut out by Shaughnessy, who then wins the second ball as well with a head. But McGregor gets it back to Johnston, and now it's O'Reilly. McGregor once more, midway inside the Dundee half. Square for Taylor, clips that in for Kyogo. Kyogo just tries to glance it on from the edge of the 6-yard box, but couldn't get the purchase or power he required, and it's an easy take for Trevor Carson. 10.5 played, 0-0.
Yeah, it was a good pick out for Greg Taylor, but there was no way that Kyogo was going to be able to direct that on target with enough power to direct it past Trevor Carson. No way, but it was a good, again, that's just a sign of Kyogo's movement. He was the one that was caught offside previously. He's always on that, he's always living on the edge of that offside line.
Zach Rudden chases down Cammy Kerr's flick on. Carter Vickers, though, as he so often is, just takes control of the situation. Strong, composed, but Celtic have given it away at the edge of their own penalty. It's Cameron who has it, right-hand side, goes through a couple of challenges. Scales trying to stop him, right across the 6-yard box. Bakayoko and Carter Vickers tussled, both hit the deck. Nothing given, and Celtic able to move forward down the right-hand side, but it's good play from Cameron. I'm not sure quite how he managed to get through those 2 or 3 Celtic bodies, but he did, and it wasn't a bad ball across goal. Bakayoko just failing to finish. Scales comes forward now. We'll come back to that in a second, Packy, but here's Palma left-hand side up against Kerr, into the penalty area it goes. Touch back the way to Scales, midway inside the Dundee half. Celtic looking for an opening goal here. Back it comes to Palma, onto the right foot, clips in towards the back post. It was Donnelly who got it half clear. O'Reilly trying to keep it alive. Johnston won't get there ahead of McCowan. McCowan plays it off Johnston. It's going to be out for a throw into Dundee, and we'll go back to that previous opportunity for Dundee, Packy.
Yeah, it looked like as if a Celtic player didn't want to put a tackle in. He had nice control of the ball, and he was sort of kind of dinking his way through. Nobody wanted to commit themselves to a tackle, and it was a really good ball across. I think Carter Vickers did well, actually. He was up against Bakayoko and almost kind of forcing him almost away from the ball with his body strength.
Yeah, he was just shielding Bakayoko out of the way, but like you say, when Lyle Cameron is kind of dancing his way past the Celtic players, you just can't afford to stick just a lazy leg out now, because if any contact a player goes down, you're going to be looking at a penalty. So that was absolutely it, because they should never have got through there.
Celtic have it, but it's just a slightly loose ball from Scales, and then Kerr is taken out by Scales, and we're going to have the first yellow card of the game as Kerr tried to bolt upfield, having intercepted the initial pass. Palma was just ever so slightly on his heels as Scales sold him short, and Kerr took advantage. Scales pulled him down. Yellow card, Liam Scales.
Really aggressive play for Kamikere. He's just read the pass and he's got in front of Palmer. Listen, whether it's Palmer's on his heels, I know the pitch looks good, but it does look a little bit bobbly, a little bit slow. You know, and the pass just wasn't making it there. Kamikere read it, and he was always winning that leg race between him and Liam Scales, and knocks it past him. And it was a good. It could be a good foul for Celtic to stop a counter.
But when you're up against almost a wing back, you've got to have a little bit of movement before the ball comes here to create that opportunity. He's almost stationary, and Kamikere couldn't read it quite easy. Even going behind, then check back, so that you give the opportunity for the player on the ball.
Here's a free kick taken by Beck from the right hand side. Carter Vickers wins the header. McCowan able to return it. It was Cameron actually who was able to return it into the Celtic box, but it's cleared up into the Dundee half, and back goes Boateng, turns it back to Trevor Carson, who first time will launch it left-footed forward. Shaughnessy's still up there, but he thinks better of challenging for that. Leaves it to Carter Vickers to control, and Shaughnessy moves back into his own defence as Carter Vickers plays the pass forward to Greg Taylor. Taylor into the central area. Driving forward there was Bernardo, who got the shot off. It's difficult to discern between Bernardo and O'Reilly at times from this distance. Trying to look at the different colour boots. It's just about the best I can do at the moment, but it is Bernardo, the Portuguese, who plays it back to Carter Vickers. Forward for Maida, out to the right hand side to Johnston, midway inside the Dundee half, and then back onto the halfway line to Liam Scales. Still no goals as Scales comes forward out of the centre circle, out to the left hand side to Palmer, who points Greg Taylor to where he wants to go, which is down the left flank, but he comes back in field in any case to Scales as Dundee's just tried to kill Celtic's tempo, and that's a poor ball in from Scales straight into the arms of Trevor Carson. 15 minutes almost on the clock. It's Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Just go back to that booking for Scales. Also, that puts him under pressure. You know, they're playing with Dundee is playing with two up front, Zach Rudden and Bakayoko, and you know, he's got to now make his decision. Every decision's got to be bang on.
There's a slightly late challenge there by Bernardo, and it will be penalised with a free kick, certainly. I don't think anything more than that. It was just a nothing challenge almost, but it will be a Dundee free kick.
The momentum with two players coming together. Bernardo's trying to press. I think it's McGee's on the clearance. You know, and when he clears it, his momentum just takes him into Bernardo. So you're bang on. It's a free kick. That's it. Nothing more.
Striker's free kick.
It's a defender's free kick there.
Trevor Carson coming way out of his goal to take this free kick. Just about 10 yards inside the Dundee half. Right hand side is Trevor Carson, all in luminous yellow, prepares to clip this one forward up towards Rudden and Bakayoko, but it's won by Taylor, who was in between both of them. Rudden's gone down, he's taken a nudge in the back there, I think, as Taylor went up, but there was nothing really sinister about it. Rudden's claiming it should have been a free kick. I'm not sure about that, but the referee has stopped play now to check if Rudden requires treatment, which he doesn't, and he's back on his feet. And always find these kind of stoppages, and it didn't remotely appear to be a head knock. I'm not quite sure why the referees feel they need to stop play. Anyway, it's just a drop ball given to Joe Hart, and Celtic pick up once more, edge of their own penalty area. 16.5 played, no goals at Denge Park, as Taylor picks up and then clips it over the top, looking for Palmer to get in behind. He will latch onto it inside the penalty, nudges it back, and it's O'Reilly with his shot. It's blocked only as far as McGregor. His shot's blocked as well. There's an opening on the edge of the box, and it's curled over and wide by Palmer. That was a good chance for Luis Palmer, only about 14 yards from goal. He had time to measure the shot, but he got it all wrong, and it remains Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, 3 bites at Jerry, but that was better movement from Palmer out wide. You know, as soon as the player picked the ball up, he was almost running in behind and made up the player's movement to pass the ball to him. Really good movement.
Dundee trying to bring it forward, but the service up to Rudden's not good enough, and it's out of play over on the far side for a Celtic throw in midway inside their own half on the left hand side. Dundee's win over Ross County last time out was their first in 4 games. They've drawn 1 and lost 2 in that period, but they'll be very satisfied with the return of 21 points from their opening 16 games, and if they could add anything at all to that tally this afternoon, it would go down as a positive result, no doubt about that, as Carter Vickers is astray with a pass out to Johnston was the intended target, but it's out of play for a Dundee throw in left hand side. McCowan is going to leave this, I think, for Aaron Donnelly, who presumably has got a long throw about him, and certainly it's an area that some opponents have managed to test Celtic from these situations, long throw-ins or corner kicks, that type of thing.
Yeah, self-inflicted. Obviously, the pass from Joe Hart with his right foot behind Carter Vickers when it should have been onto his other foot, and he could have easily played out.
Donnelly lines up the long throw in left-hand side in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's won by Johnston. McCowan is there, heads it back into the box. McGregor's clearance comes off McCowan. Carter Vickers has a bit of mopping up to do inside his own penalty area here. He's up against Shaughnessy. It's not a great clearance. McCowan now clips that into the box. Rudden flicks on at the near post, and Hart has to beat that down and then collects it the second time of asking. Good improvisation, you'd have to say, from Rudden there to get the glance on, but Hart able to keep it out. 18.5 minutes played. Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was unfortunate there, Rudden. He'd done everything right there. He's just glanced. He knows where the goal is. I know it's the old saying, the goal doesn't move. He knew exactly where he was, and he's just trying to get enough on it to flick it up and over Joe Hart into the back post. But it was a comfortable save in the end.
Sure was. Here's Scales, and now Carter Vickers on the halfway line for Celtic as we still await the opening goal. Out to Johnston and a bit of room. Beck trying to get close to him, but the cross comes in away by the right foot of inside his own penalty area. Carter Vickers waits for it to come down and then just plays it to McGregor. Back to Carter Vickers, midway inside the Dundee half, right hand side. Back to McGregor as Rudden tries to close the pair of them down. Infield to Scales and then back to McGregor, the metronome in that Celtic midfield. On to Bernardo and then back to Carter Vickers, and then right hand side for Johnston and now Maida. Donnelly comes across to meet him. Back with Carter Vickers. Dundee with everyone behind the ball just for the moment, midway inside their own half. Carter Vickers plays it short for Johnston. Back with Carter Vickers once more. Dundee trying to close down and make sure there's no gaps in their back line and allow Celtic easy route through there. Bernardo now right hand side, back in field to Johnston. Now it's O'Reilly with a bit of space, midway inside the Dundee half again. Taylor now out to the left hand side to Palmer. Quick ball into the feet of O'Reilly. He couldn't quite take it in his stride, and Dundee able to clear through McGee, and Scales has to go back there and make sure that goes out for a throw in over in the far side, 15 yards inside his own half, and he quickly takes it. We've played 20 with still no goals. Celtic certainly dominating possession, the better half chances if you like, but nothing absolutely clear cut as yet for either side as Carter Vickers plays that out onto the chest of Maida. Brings it under control, right hand side. Back with Carter Vickers, who's seen plenty of the ball in these early stages. Allowed to advance almost to the edge of the penalty area. Bernardo goes down. There was a bit of contact there, I think, from Boateng, a bit of a hand in the face almost. Bernardo perhaps making more of it than was necessary. Nonetheless, might well have had the free kick there, but play continues and Celtic have possession once more. O'Reilly tries to guide that through. Shawkins got to be careful, gets the clearance before Bernardo can get in behind him. Bernardo still holding his face, looking at the referee as if to say, how come I didn't get the free kick? It will be a throw-in. Packy, what was your view of that?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't see it, to be perfectly honest, from my position. I think one of those pillars was sort of kind of almost in my road. But I'm just looking at Selly there, and you know, we talked about it before the game. Lots of passes, lots of passing in round, 10-yard passes, 5-yard passes. And I'm kind of looking beyond that, looking to Kyogo, but I don't see that movement from him because he knows that the pass isn't going to come. Nobody's going to pick that up. It's either going to go wide to the wide players, or they're going to try to play a little penetrating pass through to one of the midfielders. But for him, the pass never comes.
Here's Palmer, left-hand side. A couple of Dundee players up against him, so he goes back the way, clipped into the area by McGregor. Way by the head of Donnelly, back onto the chest of McGregor. Bakayoko back there though to win it for Dundee, and picked up by McCowan. Back to Beck. Beck turns inside away from O'Reilly, just getting away with it to be fair, but manages to keep the ball. Boateng then gets it out to Cameron. Cameron back to Boateng, still midway inside the Dundee half. Beck wanted Boateng to turn and play it upfield, but he comes back the way to Donnelly, and now it's Carson, closed down by Kyogo, who gets the pass off to the right hand side. Cammy Kerr just trying to flick it on, but he can only flick it out of play. We're midway through this first period, no goals.
Yeah, you're talking about Celtic and they're passing. Callum McGregor in that last act was just urging Carter Vickers to drive forward into space, but he can also do it because Rudden's not giving him a moment's time or space, but when he moves off and it comes to Carter Vickers and Callum McGregor, he can also drive at it rather than just keeping it moving.
That wasn't a bad idea from Palmer as he tried to slide it through for Bernardo there, but it was well cut out by a Dundee foot. And here come Dundee on the counter. Can Rudden bring this under control? Johnston's likely to be there ahead of him. It just skipped away from Rudden out to his left-hand side, and Johnston gets it up to Maida, who'll try and take on Beck, but he's done really well. Again, the young man, and he's applauded roundly by the home fans, who clearly appreciate the quality of player that they've been able to bring in. Just 21, and already a Welsh under-21 international, and I think as Tony Docherty was saying pre-match, or was it John Nelm, certainly they both probably expect him to be a full Welsh international before long. As Celtic come forward once more, Dundee managed to clear though up to the halfway line.
Yeah, and it's that turn of pace that Kenny had mentioned earlier. That's a couple of times now that Maeda, and you know that Maeda's going to get a ball and knock it past, and knock it past you and try to run you. And if you can match that pace of Maeda's, then you have a chance to stop him, and he's done it successfully on 2 occasions now.
Here's Maida in possession, backed away though almost to the halfway line to Carter Vickers, out to the right hand side for Johnston, midway inside the Dundee half, ball in field for Bernardo, over the top for O'Reilly, right hand side of the Dundee penalty area, coming back the way from the goalie, out to the right hand side, and again back to Carter Vickers, who's probably had more touches of the ball in this opening 24 minutes than any other player. They're almost through there, is McGregor just trying to bundle his way through, and then Johnston on the loose ball tries a speculative effort. That's going to be a corner. It just took a slight deflection. Carson couldn't keep it in, and it will be a Celtic corner right hand side as they look for the opening goal, just to settle any potential nerves that might be beginning to grow amongst the travelling band of supporters, as Palmer comes again out to the right hand side to swing this out the way with the right foot onto the head of Scales, not too far away from the opening goal, from the head of Liam Scales. He got up to win it well, angled the header towards the far post. He could only have been a yard or so wide of Trevor Carson's right hand post. Not sure the keeper was getting there had that been on target, but it did drift wide, and it's still Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, listen, we were right behind it with the perfect view of it. I mean, I must say I didn't like the delivery packet when he kind of that drilled. I prefer it to be whipped in, but Scales just got above his man, and he got enough for it to direct it towards the back post, but it was always just curving away for that back post to Trevor Carson. Good effort, but not on target. Just going on back on that last attack though, it was the first time Kyogo, I think, touched the ball. You know, because he's coming to actually get involved in the build-up rather than always living on the shoulder. So if you're not getting those kind of passes back, you need to take an involvement in the game. You know, so he comes, drops it off, and they actually get a decent opportunity from it.
Dundee have it, right-hand side, Boateng forward. But Celtic have nicked it back, and that's going to stay in play, and it's Palmer down the left-hand side. Shaughnessy just trying to hold him up outside of the boot ball. It's cleared away by Donnelly, only as far as Johnston. 25 yards from goal, tries to curl one, but it's straight at Trevor Carson, and it's a comfortable take for the Dundee keeper. But that was a lightning counter-attack, and Dundee, who had committed bodies forward, almost caught out.
Yeah, Palmer's on the counter-attack. He's got all the space in the world to drive forward, but he tries a speculative, almost outside of the foot kind of cross, and I think he should have just continued his run and commit a defender and see what was going to come off it. But no, it wasn't a good cross for me.
Celtic have it. McGregor forward looking for Kyogo, but Donnelly first to it, and then it's brought out of the air nicely by Lyle Cameron, but he can't keep a hold of it, and Dundee are just struggling to retain any sort of possession, and that's making life difficult for them because it's just inviting Celtic pressure on them. Still no goals, but 26.5 minutes played. Alistair Johnston comes forward looking to create. Maida right hand side, can't get beyond Beck again. Well, we've bigged him up so far, Owen Beck, but he's lived up to that hype so far. That looked like a nudge in the back there by McCowan. He gets away with it, but then he's given the ball back to Celtic. It's O'Reilly, right hand side. Now it's Johnston. Back the way to McGregor, still in the Celtic right. Carter Vickers once more into Scales, who's come as close as anyone to scoring. Now Taylor, midway inside the Dundee half. Back with Carter Vickers. Brendan Rodgers right at the edge of his technical area, urging his team, I think, perhaps to play just slightly quicker, fewer passes, as O'Reilly picks up on the right hand side of the box, gets it back onto the left foot, curls it again, though it's straight to Trevor Carson. Not a bad position. O'Reilly was trying to bend it, I think, into the back post, but he didn't get the right angle on it. and it remains Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I think Brendan Rodgers, he's wanting his team to play that little bit, that quicker tempo of play. I must say, when the man on the ball, there's not a lot going on in front of them, you know, but that opportunity is just created by Matt O'Reilly being the good player. You know, individual ability, driving, chopping onto his left foot, and you know, once he did, he should have really sent that out more towards the back post. He had it too straight at Trevor Carson, straight down his throat on an easy save.
Have you seen enough from Celtic so far, Packy?
Listen, they've got lots of possession, loads and loads of possession. I think they've worked the ball well into that sort of kind of forward area, you know, in the final third. But they haven't been able to test Trevor Carson really. There's a good run from Kyogo.
Kyogo, he's in on goal here. Kyogo, edge of the penalty area. Can he dink it beyond the goalkeeper? Is wide. Oh, Kyogo's missed it. That's a glorious opportunity. And Kyogo of last season is burying that, absolutely no doubt. But although he got his first goal in 8 at the weekend, he's still not fully confident, and as he tried to dig that over the outrushing Trevor Carson, he managed to do that, but it's wide of the far post, and it remains Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Perfect run, perfect pass, in behind the defence. I thought it was in the back of the net, actually. I thought he did everything right. That little dink over the goalkeeper, but just off target. It was about a foot wide of the right hand post, but that was better movement, better passing. And you could see his movement, so the pass came, so perfect.
But that's the time for that movement packet, in transition, in turnover where they're disjointed and there's more space. It has to be early, and the timing, and like you say, the pass and the timing of the run was absolutely perfect. Should be Celtic.
Yeah, it certainly should. I think most people reckoned that was going to head into the back of the net as Kyogo burst free. Trevor Carson out to narrow the angle and did enough perhaps to just make it difficult for Kyogo, who dinked it over the keeper, but it bounced wide.
Kenny, would you have dinked it, or would you have sort of kind of bent it in round the goalkeeper?
I was never a dinker, Pack. I never had the finesse for that type of finish. I was more a slot into the near post or I'll go round the goalkeeper.
Shockness is lining up a long throw in, about 20 yards, maybe less than that actually, from the corner flag right hand side, as Dundee look to try and get the opening goal here. It's off the head of O'Reilly at the edge of the 6-yard box. Celtic looking to get their lines cleared. They've been under very little pressure, but haven't been able to score at the other end, and as a result will always feel a slight vulnerability to a counter. And here come Dundee once more, right hand side of the box. It's just hooked in. Can Rudden make anything of that at the edge of the box? He lets it run, wouldn't quite sit for McCowan. Bakayoko trying to make something of it. It's hacked clear in the end on the half-hour mark by Joe Hart. Still no goals, and Dundee looking to try and create something as Donnelly hoists it forward. That should easily be Joe Hart's ball, and it is. And he immediately bowls it out over arm to Luis Palma on the left hand side. The Celtic fans urging the Honduran forward as Celtic still look for the opening goal. In he steps into in the field it comes, and now it is O'Reilly goes for goal, just wide of Trevor Carson's left hand post as he sprawled away to his left. The goalkeeper, he's yelling at his defence there for how easy it was for Celtic to build that attack, but O'Reilly, who has 9 goals to his name already in the league this season, couldn't add the 10th, and it's still Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Well, it was Dundee stepping out of their defensive almost system and shape and compactness to try to attack Celtic, and that opens up space, and Celtic attacked it really, really quickly then. And I'm looking at O'Reilly's shot. I think if that was on target, Trevor Carson was beaten because he was kind of almost struggling to get across his goal.
Here's Maida, right hand side. Celtic in search of that opening goal. Beck just gets his body in between Maida and the ball and just ushers it out for a goal kick. Well, we've mentioned him a few times, Packy, but he really is doing a marvellous job on Maida, you'd have to say.
That's fascinating because, you know, you're up against a player who is strong and quick. Doesn't have a trick in him, Maida, to be honest, but what he has is got that pace and that strength, and you're a young man learning the game, but he's just picked up his position perfectly, using that little bit of pace, getting his body between the ball and Maeda, and comes out on top once again. Really good defending.
Rudden trying to hold the ball up but unable to do so, and Celtic through Taylor play it up towards the halfway line, and Kyogo breaks off Cammy Kerr out on that far side. The Dundee right for a throw in to Celtic. 32 on the clock. Dundee 0, Celtic 0. Celtic having by far and away the lion's share of possession and the better opportunities. Kyogo with the absolute gilt-edged one, but he sent it past the post. But here they come once more, and it's Maida with the early ball into Johnston. Johnston's pass on is not a good one, and picked up by Boateng and then knocked up to the halfway line by Donnelly. Loose play there from Carter Vickers. Cowan gets it to Rudden on the halfway line, back in field to Cameron, who gets it back from Boateng under a bit of pressure there. Donnelly takes a touch, wasn't a great one. Cameron quickly under pressure as well in the midfield, but he's hauled to the ground there by Bernardo, and it'll be a Dundee free kick, but Cameron almost coughing up possession there as he was surrounded by Celtic players, but the free kick goes Dundee's way. 33 played, Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I think it's the first time Dundee have actually strung a few passes together between McCowan and Rudden, Boateng and Cameron, but it was a chance. Celtic could, I think Callum McGregor could smell it. It was a chance that they could go and nick it, and they surrounded Cameron. They gave the free kick away. They got away with one there, Dundee.
Scales with a good defensive header at the edge of his own penalty area, continuing to impress, having come into the team as a result of Celtic's injury woes, you would have to say, but he's fully grasped his opportunity alongside Cameron Carter Vickers. Here's Maida on the right hand side for Celtic, plays it infield, he's looking for O'Reilly, almost picked up by Johnston, but Beck gets a crucial touch. O'Reilly will pick up once more on the loose ball right hand side, about 10 yards from the goal line, back the way to McGregor, plays it square in there to Taylor. Taylor back to O'Reilly, 25 yards from goal, tracked by McCowan. It's Taylor once more, midway inside the Dundee half, out to the left hand side. Palma looking to take on Kerr on the outside, takes a deflection on its way across. It'll be a Celtic corner, and this is where I think Palma can really deliver danger from that left hand side. Often he goes for the near post back, he doesn't, we have seen him cause havoc.
That's pace and power, and that's what he does well. It's about the movement then of the players in the box. You know, you've seen Liam Scales last weekend on the end of a good cross, just that all you've got to do is glance it.
Here he comes, in swinger into the 6 yard box, is headed away by Shaughnessy. Trevor Carson was under severe pressure in there from Cameron Carter Vickers, but Shaughnessy did a good job. I'm hearing that Owen Beck, and this is bad news for Dundee, he's been indicating to the bench he's got a problem with his knee. He'll certainly hope he can see it out to half time and they can get a look at it. Then they definitely don't want to lose him as Kyogo tries to make something of a ball into the box. Wasn't initially dealt with there by Kerr. He eventually did enough to just turn it behind before Kyogo could pounce. Celtic with another corner left hand side. This one's quickly taken short. Taylor back to Palma on the angle of the box, plays it in, glanced on. Where's that going to end up? Just wide of goal. Not sure if that was Bernardo perhaps who got the head flick on at the near post. It wasn't too far wide as Trevor Carson looked and hoped more than anything else, and it did drift wide. 35 on the clock. Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, and it was a threatening run for Kyogo again in behind that led to that corner. I think it fell on his left foot. He could have got something on the shot. He had a swing, it never got anything on it. It went out for the corner and they played it quickly to Palma. Again, he cuts inside onto the right foot. It's that kind of shot come cross, and I think it was Bernardo just got a glance on it and it just sneaked. It might even graze the post, but if it had been on target, I don't think Trevor Carson was getting to that.
Johnston gets the ball forward down the right hand side for Maida, continues his run. Rudden's left him. Johnston's all alone at the angle of the box now, into Callum McGregor, lines one up, goes for goal, wide of goal though, and the goal kick is awarded. Callum McGregor was claiming it took a nick, but I think it just swerved off the outside of the left boot and was always heading wide from the boots of the Celtic skipper. And after 36 minutes we still await the opening goal.
Yeah, quick passing from Celtic, out wide, knocked inside, Johnston picking then McGregor out in space in that sort of almost 25 yards from goal, should I say, and but he didn't make good execution at the end of it. Came off his left foot and went well wide.
Just one goal this season, Callum McGregor, as Carter Vickers wrestles there with Rudden. Rudden has stayed down, but play continues as Rudden gets himself to his feet slowly, and Celtic in possession, and it's McGregor finding O'Reilly, able to move forward up towards the edge of the penalty area. He's got Maida outside of him. He eventually goes across the box, it comes and knocked away by Shaughnessy. Johnston's won it back though, clips it back into the area. Dundee defending for their lives here. Kyogo gets turned, plays it to the left. Taylor's shot is blocked. Another Celtic corner left hand side. The momentum, the pressure is building. Can this Dundee defence hold out? Still 0-0.
Well, you can sense it is building. I mean, that's been Shaughnessy, it's been Donnelly, it was Kerr on that occasion. All the defenders for Dundee putting their body on the line to block shots and protect that goal.
I think Don Robertson is just indicating that there was a check going on there, but it's over very quickly. Might have been for a handball or something in the blockages that were going on, but nothing given as Celtic prepare then to take the corner kick left hand side. Palma Referee again going into that 6-yard box to just ensure there's nothing going on that shouldn't be. Certainly the last time a corner came in from that side, there was significant pressure on Trevor Carson. He was really pinned in there by Carter Vickers, and I think that's what the big defender is trying to do once more. Shaughnessy is there as well as Dundee try to keep Celtic out. 7.5 minutes to the interval. Palmer's near post ball into the side netting this time. Well, it's fine margins when you're trying that near post delivery, and it has to be spot on, and often he does get it bang on, but that one was just off, and it's side netting, as I say. Goal kick to Dundee. We're playing 38 minutes, and it's Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, the first corner he had, he knocked it in almost into the goalkeeper's area, and this time he put this one in with pace to the near post, but it's getting that balance, as you rightly say, just getting into the right area with the right movement, and you have a chance.
Here's Rudden as Dundee try to mount something of an attack, but again it comes to nothing, as Celtic though just play a loose ball. Johnston was the stretch, couldn't reach it, and it's out for a throw, and as Tony Docherty just stands in his technical area with the ball at his feet, ready for one of his players to come over and take this throw in. But they could do with a breather, I think, that Dundee back line. They'll get one certainly in 6.5 minutes, but they'll hope to go in no worse than goalless as it stands just at the moment. No wins in 33 here against Celtic. They've drawn 7 and lost 26 of those since that 1-0 victory, courtesy of Tommy Coyne's goal in September 1988. As I mentioned pre-match, Alan Ruff was deputising for my learned colleague here, who'd been in such poor form that he was dropped by Billy McNeil.
I was injured, actually.
I'm sure you were.
I had a back injury that time.
Tucking the ball too much.
I remember it well. That's when Big Billy came in and said that he had signed Ian Andrews when I was in bed. That was me finished.
I must say, this game has got a very, very similar feel to the game at the weekend, where Celtic completely dominant. There's been a couple of chances missed. Looks like again that Dundee might be able to get in at 0-0 at half time, and obviously at the weekend Celtic managed to get the goal right after 28 seconds, I think it was, against Livingston, and it just settled the nerves of the fans at Celtic Park.
Dundee have got a free kick just a few yards inside the Celtic half, and a couple of yards in from the left touchline as Dundee come forward. It's going to be Beck to take it. Dundee have got players up at the edge of the penalty area, and it comes. It's a good defensive header again from Scales. He's very, very commanding at the back for Celtic, I have to say, the Republic of Ireland international, and
he's improved in that area. He's also improved, because initially I think he was too close to players, and he wasn't getting that sort of leap that you normally get from a centre half, but now his timing has improved.
Here he is on the ball, just about 10 yards outside his own penalty area. Plays it short to Taylor, who sweeps it back to Carter Vickers. 5 minutes left in this opening period. No goals. As Celtic come forward again, it's Johnston just pokes that for McGregor. Out to the right hand side to Maida, midway inside the Dundee half. Back to McGregor, who's tracked by Rudden. Plays it back to almost the halfway line, and Carter Vickers quickly on to Scales, but back to Carter Vickers at the edge of the centre circle once more. Again, it's out to the right hand side. Johnston in a bit of space, time to whip the cross in. O'Reilly's on the stretch, can't quite make anything of it. It'll come to Palmer at the back post. Palmer back the way to McGregor, blocked at the edge of the 6-yard box. Dundee having to really defend doggedly here to hold on to the stalemate that exists for the moment. It's Johnston again whipping it into the back post, and away by Kerr this time, off the head, out for a throw-in over on the far side. But Celtic really trying to chap this Dundee door down.
Been about 4 or 5, I think, shots almost from the same area, and has been blocked by one of the Dundee defenders. You've got to shift those defenders if you can out of that particular area. They'll just stand in there and get their body in the way.
Celtic have won themselves yet another corner over on the far side again. Another in-swinger just about to be sent in here by Luis Palma, you'd imagine. Very, very crowded 6-yard box as Palma swings it high. That's an easy take that time for Trevor Carson. A poor delivery on that occasion from the Honduran. And here come Dundee looking to mount the counter as Boateng chasing the ball forward. Johnston's there just ahead of him. Picked up though eventually by Boateng at the right hand side of the penalty area. Can Dundee shift this quickly before Celtic get bodies back? It's Cameron for Boateng once more, right hand side, all the way back now to Cammy Kerr. Moves away though from Maida. Boateng picks up once more, tries to play it forward for Kerr, tries to get the ball into the box. It's won initially by O'Reilly before Bakayoko could make anything of it, and Celtic look like they've taken the sting out of that Dundee attack. Johnston just getting back to his feet after taking a knock when he was in the chase initially. That's a poor ball by Donnelly. Callum McGregor's nicked it from him. 3-on-3 here for Celtic as they come forward out to the left-hand side for Palma. What can Celtic do here? He skips away from one challenge. Left-hand side of the box. Is this the chance? Rudden with a terrific bit of backtracking to hit it behind. O'Reilly was poised. You could see him about to volley that goalwards, and Rudden, brilliant work to get back, heads it behind. Remains Dundee 0, Celtic 0. Quickly taken corner kick from the right hand side. McGregor for O'Reilly, and back with McGregor once more. Stands up to the back post. That's a good ball. Downward header is wide though from Palma, just at the back post. There's a terrific opportunity again. Brilliant ball from Callum McGregor, but perhaps the heading is not Luis Palma's forte. Couldn't get it on target, and with 2 minutes to play, the end of this first period, it's Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Celtic's best chance, you know, at the back post, nobody on him, he's free, he's coming in, he sees the goal, and he heads it down, but doesn't even get it on target, doesn't even hit, forces the goalkeeper into a save. Yeah, and that was a huge chance, just right on half-time to a crucial time.
Celtic have it, as they so often have. And it's in the forward area with Maida. That doesn't look like a good ball in from Maida. Is it going to be kept in by Palma? No, it's not. And Dundee will have the goal kick with just about 80 seconds left of the opening 45 minutes. Not too much in the way of added on time, I wouldn't imagine. There haven't been any significant stoppages. So Trevor Carson will get the game underway again. 18 chances I hear Celtic have had in this opening half, but only 2 shots on target, albeit I don't think that will count the ones that have been blocked maybe 6 or 8 yards out, which maybe is slightly unfair when it comes to those statistics telling an accurate picture, but they certainly have been wasteful at times as well, sending 2 or 3 shots just wide when they should have done better. The ball's back with Joe Hart, a couple of minutes actually to be added on as Johnston picks up and crosses the halfway line. Celtic find the opener ahead of the interval. O'Reilly dinks it forward to Kyogo. Poor first touch from him, and then a sliding challenge in from McCowan. That could have been a penalty as Kyogo goes down. Well, I actually thought he was perhaps guilty of an infringement just prior to that. That wasn't given, and then McCowan slid in, and I don't think he took much of the ball there as Kyogo went down, but play allowed to continue. But of course, VAR in action, and Greg Aitken's the man in the VAR room. He will no doubt be just taking another look at that as play continues to develop, and it's the right hand side of the Dundee box. O'Reilly back to Maida. Carter Vickers now closed down by Bakayoko. Johnston on the angle of the box, out to Maida, right hand side, closed down by McCowan, who might yet find himself penalised for that challenge. We'll get the guy's view on it as soon as the ball goes out of play. Here's Bernardo, right hand side of the box as Celtic come forward, tracked by Boateng, goes back the way to Scales. We're well into that stoppage time now as Celtic come into the box. Left hand side, Palma charged down and into the arms of Trevor Carson. Well, it's not out of play, but it is a chance to get the guy's view on whether the Celtic should have had a penalty kick there.
I'm not sure. They obviously haven't. There was no real appeal from the Celtic players. That was the first thing that I noticed. I always, think that the players in and around about it has got the view. They didn't really appeal for it, and nothing's really came of it. So I don't know whether we'll talk about it at half-time. We might see it at half-time, somebody.
It definitely looked like there was connecting between McCowan and Kyogo as he went to maybe pull the trigger. But again, from our side, you don't know what type of contact there was, if any.
Yeah, I'm hearing in my ear certainly that there was a touch in the ball certainly before McCowan connected with Kyogo. Carradine's seen it. If we get a chance before half-time to go down to him, we will do. But it's Celtic in attack, looking for the opening goal in the final minute of stoppage time before the interval. Dundee defending deeply as they have done for much of this first half, and they've nodded it behind for another corner. Quick word with Carradine then on that challenge.
Yeah, you were spot on. There was a touch on the ball. I think it was from McCowan. He got to the ball, then he did have the touch with Kyogo, but the award is correct of no penalty. Good tackle.
Thanks, Carradine. Celtic corner then, perhaps the last opportunity of this first half as Palma comes out to the right hand side. Outswinger to the near post. Maida can't get there as Donnelly knocks it clear. We've played those 2 minutes of stoppage time. Tony Docherty very animated down there as the referee does bring the first half to a close, and it's the Dundee fans largely who are the happier around about us getting to their feet to applaud their side's efforts in that first 45+2. They have been on the defensive almost for the entirety of that first period, albeit Trevor Carson hasn't had too many big saves to make, but that's not to say that Celtic haven't had really good chances. Scales had a header just wide after 25 minutes from a corner kick. Johnston and O'Reilly had shot straight at Carson, not forcing him into very good saves as such. And then Kyogo, perhaps with a chance of the half, just before the half-hour mark, he was played through on goal, and as he dashed forward, you would have put money on him beating Trevor Carson. Well, he did beat Trevor Carson, but he also sent the ball just wide of the far post as Dundee breathed again. O'Reilly had an effort just wide from 25 yards a couple of minutes later, and then at the back post, Luis Palma headed wide when he should have at least hit the target you fancied late in that half. But that's pretty much it. Celtic not able to overly test Trevor Carson. Certainly at the other end, Joe Hart has had virtually nothing to do, and so at half-time the scoreline at Dens Park reads Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
There's no substitute.
Join me, Gary Innes, as I celebrate 50 years of Runrig.
There was a band playing rock music in Gaelic songs, which was a complete revolution, if you like.
We never really appreciated Gaelic fully until you leave the island, look back, and you see, God, that's something of worth.
I chart their rise to fame and showcase Runrig's incredible legacy through the music, interviews with the band and their fans.
What Runrig did was take a folk tradition and bring it right into the rock and roll mainstream.
That's Runrig, a celebration. Hogmanay night from 6 on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, live from Dens Park. Half-time, Dundee 0, Celtic 0. Our two pundits this afternoon, Kenny Miller and Pat Bonner, both predicted a comfortable win for Celtic. In all truth, Pat, they could have been out of sight in that first half, couldn't they?
Yeah, but they haven't put the ball in the back of the net, which is the key. And lots of possession. I'd love to know what the stats is. I don't know, has anybody come up with them? But certainly they must be up in the 80% at least possessions stats. They pinned Dundee back into their own half for most of the game. Lots of possession, moving it around. The big chance for Kyogo, of course, you put your house on it that he was going to score. He didn't. And Palma, the header, I thought that was as good a chance as any, because he sees the goal is coming to him. And I'm looking at 74% possession from Celtic. Shots 19. There are lots of blocks in there, wasn't there? Round and listen, credit to Dundee defenders, because that's what you've got to do. That's why you're a defender. You put your body in front of the ball, you block it. It's up to the opposition to find the space, and they didn't. And maybe a little disguised one, maybe it might. But they had headers, they had shots, they had all of those things, sorry, but just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, and that's been an issue for them. And it's no different today. You could see it. And then of course Dundee. I think they've been up maybe once or twice in that first half, and you know, but as long as it's 0-0, Tony Docker to be very, very happy. And it only takes a set piece, it only takes something, one chance in the game, and that creates the pressure on Celtic. And Celtic know that if they don't put the ball in the back of the net, there's always that chance could come along.
Pat, we spoke before the game and we heard Brendan Rodgers speak about it. Tempo, intensity, has that been there in the first half for Celtic? Is it just the finishing this issue? Yeah, no, I think there is tempo. I think there's passing, good passing. There's a lot of passing, but maybe passing in the wrong areas at time, a little bit into the midfielder, back out again, into the midfielder, back out wide, so on, and not maybe enough in behind. And I'm sure in the second half, maybe, as we say, kind of maybe downhill, and they might have a little bit more runs. I would like to see more runs from Bernardo in behind. I would like to see O'Reilly making a few more runs. He does it already. Bernardo doesn't do that. He's a player always coming to the ball, always get involved in the little combination of passes. But run away, run beyond, make it difficult for the centre half, because then Kyogo comes alive. He can come short, get on the ball and get turned. It's been a fascinating duel between the young lad Owen Beck and Maeda. You know, and terrific.
He's got that knock, and he had looked as if maybe he was want to come off. I'm sure Tony Docherty doesn't want him to come off, because he's at the moment he's got Maeda where he absolutely wants him. There's about 3 or 4 times it was a chase, a run, both of them. He matched him for speed. He came out on top as a young man up against a very experienced player in Maeda. You would expect Maeda, but he never got behind him, I don't think, once in that first half, which is quite incredible. So credit to the young man.
Yeah, we heard from Dundee Managing Director John Nelms pre-match, and Kerrydine asked him about Owen Beck. There's been so much talk about him already, an under-21 international, and he said no doubt he'll go on to be a full international. And he did say, Pat, he said, look, the plan is to have a conversation to have him here until the end of the season, but beyond that, no chance he'll be at Dundee.
No, absolutely. But obviously Celtic have got so much dominance of the ball, and they're so high up the pitch that he's in a great defensive position. You know, he's a wing back playing today. He's got 3 centre halves inside him, so he doesn't have to worry too much from what's behind him. It's all about, can he stop Maeda today. I would like to see maybe Maeda coming a little bit shorter, dragging him maybe at 5 yards further from his position, and then get one of the midfielders running into that space. And then the question will be, does the centre half have to go with that player, or does the young Owen Beck have to maybe change his position a little bit, put a bit of doubt in his mind, create another option? And that's what maybe Celtic have got to do, because he's got Maeda absolutely where he wants.
John Nelms had a really good interview pre-match, as I say, with our reporter Kerrydine Idsa, and he spoke about a wide variety of things. The main thing he spoke about was the stadium move. He said the plan is playing in the new stadium start of season 25-26. Let's get some fan reaction to that. Kerrydine, you're with some Dundee supporters?
Yes, Kenny, Chance Miller can come into the main stand, and they're a friendly bunch here in Dundee. You've got a couple of guys with you. So, guys, just first of all, introduce yourselves.
I'm Bill Fairweather from Broughty Ferry.
And Bill, you've been a Dundee fan for how long?
70 years.
Wow. And you, sir?
Jim Hendry from Falkirk, native of Broughty Ferry, but now in exile. I was at school with Bill, so somewhere south of 70 odd years, but close to it.
Right, so we're completely imbued in the history of Dundee Football Club here, so tell me what you think of moving away from this grand old place for a start, the new stadium.
Well, I'm totally for it. I think it could be the sort of catalyst for better days. We've been a yo-yo club, as some of our opponents delight in telling us, and I think a new stadium would be a positive all round. And I say that even though my dad's ashes are behind that goal there. So I love Dens Park, but I think I'll love the new stadium as well, as long as I can live to see it.
Serious about your dad's ashes?
Behind the Province Road goal, yeah.
Wow, so your family obviously goes back generations supporting this club.
One generation. My dad came from Glasgow and came up to a very good Dundee team, and it was a no-brainer when I was growing up.
Hold that thought, because we will come back to talk about the grand old days here. But Bill, what do you think about the new stadium plans?
I think it's a very progressive move. I think it's good for the city, and by Dundee moving there, I'll also stop the congestion around Dens Park area for the residents. I think that more people will actually attend the stadium. We also got the opportunity to open up to other events, which will bring extra revenue to the club, and hopefully that will kick the club up further up the league.
I asked the managing director how he's going to pay for it. I asked him again. I think I asked him a third time. He couldn't really tell me. Do you guys know how's the club going to pay for this?
The financial side of it is a mystery to us fans, but I think, as Bill explained, there's a lot in it for the club, because there's going to be a lot of money-making aspects to the new stadium, and it won't be a once a fortnight operation. There's going to be commercial outlets, there's going to be a hotel. All of it will bring revenue to the owners of the stadium, who are the owners of the club, and that's got to be good for the club.
And the managing director, John Nelms, thinks he can get it up and running for the season after next, which would be, given that I'm not even put planning permission in yet, that would be some turnaround.
Yes, I think the planning permission's going back and forward between the club and the Dundee City Council. There's obviously been some issues there, but I'm sure it'll be ironed out for the benefit of the city. We've got to remember that it's also the city that's going to benefit from this. And I mean, years ago, when Scotland actually unfortunately failed to get the Euros, we were going to be promised a 30,000 stadium in Dundee, and I think Dundee have taken that mantle on, and I think the owners, Tim Keyes, and John Nelms are doing a fantastic job.
Well, to the man whose father's ashes are buried somewhere over there behind the goal, there's been some brilliant Dundee teams played in this stadium.
Absolutely. Well, Bill and I go back to just before the league championship winning side of 1961-62. These were great days, and we've had a lot of highs. We've had probably too many lows, but once it's in the blood, it's in the blood. And we've seen some fantastic games on this stadium, and we'll miss it when we move. Just you have a look at Bill and I, you'll be wondering if we'll live long enough to see it. That remains the aim at the moment.
Well, the managing director says it's coming season after next, but let's just finally bring things right back up to date. What about the current team, the current manager, and your half-time deadlock with Celtic? You're not doing too badly at all.
No, I mean, it's 50 years ago that we actually beat them 1-0 in the League Cup final, which I've got a painting of that in my den. I think that the team has improved greatly. I think the owners have also seen that we can't be the yo-yo club that Jim describes, and I think they've invested well in a good manager, and he's doing a great job considering Dundee's real resources. It's difficult, especially when you have Celtic and Rangers with probably bigger pockets than we have. So I think for the future we need to continue investing. The fans have got to get behind the management as well. There's been issues there, as we're aware of, and it's about pulling together for the good of the club.
Well, you're both a credit to your club. Thanks so much for joining us live on BBC Radio Scotland. Thanks so much.
Yeah, very good stuff there from the Dundee fans. Terrific to hear. One of the supporters has been coming to the club for 70 years. We actually had a St Mirren fan on the programme on Saturday chatting with Chick. He said he's been following the club for 70 years. Chick described himself in comparison as a youth policy with that one, but it was great to hear the guys reminiscing there. And a reminder, the fans play a big part on Sports Sound now. Every Saturday from 5:15, 5:30, the opportunity for the supporters to have their say.
This is Sports Sound.
Rob, I'm not sure there if Rory was suggesting Shanklin gets in ahead of you.
It does at the moment because Rob was just on his hip replay. He's not only a chunky striker. I've gone round a lot of people I know and said, give me 10 grand, I'll keep you out my boot.
Kevin Holt missed the penalty for us in Dingwall that takes us to Premier League, but he can score a penalty against us tonight. I really want to thank Kevin for that.
Have you really scored 18 or 20 own goals, Steve? Yeah, that's prolific. It's not something I'm proud of.
Are you in a positive balance when we go to goals at the other end, or is it a negative equity?
I'm minus 14.
Final words from you, your thoughts on VAR, keep it or bin it?
Keep VAR, bin the referees.
These answers are very good.
I don't have an inferiority complex when I sit here. It doesn't bother me.
One, no.
Football's
yeah, you hold your own, it's fair to say.
You get that sound bite of Stephen Naismith because it'll help me get to sleep tonight. Recruitment's not good enough, tactics aren't good enough. What else do you want to talk about?
If they did a fly-on-the-wall drama of what's going on at Livingston at the moment and put it on the screen, it would make Succession look like a rom-com.
Do you know what? Honestly, I am sick and tired to listen to the tripe that comes out for you lot.
Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
No doubt for the supporters to react to this weekend on Sports, and it's a big day on Saturday. We'll get to the fan element around about 5:15. Of course, we start off with the Old Firm game. That's a 12 o'clock start. Sports Sound on air from 11:30 on Saturday. The teams are just coming out here. Kenny Miller 0-0 here at Dens Park. Both managers fairly happy. Brendan Rodgers has seen his side control this game, but not clinical enough. As for Tony Docherty, the right banger, and Big Packy was saying there, all they're looking for is one opportunity, one set piece.
Or just get through unscathed, you know, and come away with a very hard-earned 0-0, and it'd be a big point for Dundee as well. From a Celtic point of view, yeah, they just need to keep the control that they've got. When the chances come, again, touched on at the top of the show, you need to take your chances in these games when teams are defending deep and they're giving not a lot of space to your attacking players. When you get that chance, like Kyogo did, like Palma did at the back post, you have to be clinical with them. And you know, I'm sure Brendan's sick, fed up kind of with these types of games when you're coming in and there's an element of criticism getting thrown at you for how your team's playing, and are they too slow, or they're not living up to the kind of Ange era, the exciting attacking football. They've had opportunities today. Had they got those opportunities, they changed the whole dynamic of the game.
Brendan Rodgers just giving the thumbs up to some of the Celtic supporters to our left-hand side here at Dens Park. His team are out first. We still await the Dundee players to come out. Some last-minute instructions, no doubt, from Tony Docherty. What a job he is doing. He's got his side on the verge of the top six, and they do have games in hand. My goodness, what a player they've got here. Young Owen Beck, they've got him in loan. He has been terrific in the first half, up against Daisen Maeda. What a battle that has been down the right-hand side here for Celtic. We still await Dundee to come out here. Just to remind the Sportsline, it's a big card tomorrow night on the programme. Sportsline on air at 6 o'clock on BBC Radio Scotland, so join us for that. Some huge games to look forward to, and of course Saturday, what action we have. We've got the Old Firm derby to kick things off. We're with you right through until 6 o'clock on Saturday. From 5:15, the opportunity for the supporters to have their say. What will they be talking about on Saturday night? Can Rangers beat Celtic in that big derby at Celtic Park? We will find out on Sportsline as the Dundee players come out here to decent applause from their fans here at Dens Park. So let's find out what unfolds in the second half here with your commentary team of Kenny Miller, Pat Bonner and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Just importantly for Dundee fans to note that Owen Beck is back out for the second half. In fact, it looks like both sides will be completely unchanged for the start of the second half, so whatever knee problem he had, he's overcome that for the moment at least. Celtic will kick us off in the second period. They come into this game 9 points worse off than the same stage last season at the halfway point in the Premiership title. They were 9 points clear of Rangers at this time last season. In fact, the record that they have at the moment, which is played 19, won 14, drawn 3, lost 2, 45 points, is exactly the same as Rangers were at this stage last season. So there has been a drop off, there's no doubt about that. Can they pick up the 3 points they require to ensure that they do go into the Old Firm game on Saturday at the top of the table? Rangers in action, as Kenny was mentioned, against Ross County at home. I'll be at Ibrox tomorrow for online commentary of that one, with Hibs against Hearts, of course, as well. Here comes Celtic looking for a quick start to the second half as they enjoyed against Livingston. Is behind off Jordan McGee for the first Celtic corner of the second half, and they have started on the front foot as they finished the first period, looking for that goal which would just settle them. Certainly when they got the goal against Livingston, they were able to settle into a more positive and relaxed pattern of play. It's going behind off Donnelly again for another corner at the start of this second period. Left hand side, Palma will deliver once more into that near post area he generally aims for. Again, it's a hugely crowded 6-yard box as Palma sends it in low. It's flicked on. Kyogo trying to make something of it, touches it back for Taylor. It's going to, who's it going to break to? Carter Vickers nudges it back to Scales. Scales to the side, it's Taylor once more. Now Kyogo, just wide. And there's an offside flag up, and it will be a Dundee free kick, but Dundee just having to put bodies in the way. Celtic couldn't find a way to go, and it remains Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it's from that front post corner. I think as O'Reilly just gets across the front post and flicks it back towards the penalty spot, but there's that many bodies in the 6-yard box that I think Kyogo had to come out of there to go on the end of it. He lays it off, and there was 2 or 3 shots again, but again Dundee late in the first half, putting their bodies on the line, blocking it, and I think it was Maeda that was eventually offside. I think the last opportunity that was had from Kyogo, he never got a hold of it at all. He's dragged into the ground, and that led to the offside of Maeda.
Goal kick, or the free kick I should say, is taken by Trevor Carson, headed back towards Dundee half, but Shaughnessy plays it forward. Rudden won't catch out for a throw into Celtic over on the far side, and it continues goalless. But Celtic very much the team on top in the first period without overly stretching Trevor Carson, and the ball is now back with his opposite number. Joe Hart plays it out to Liam Scales, who'll bring it forward for Celtic, making strides up towards the halfway line. Plays it into Greg Taylor, one of the Celtic players who had a swipe at goal just a moment ago. That's a good ball forward for Kyogo, just a little bit much on it in the end from Johnston, and off his line comes Trevor Carson to clutch that one. But again, you would imagine, Packy, at half time that message from Brendan is just lift that tempo and intensity once more.
Yeah, and that type of run, you know, let's play a little few passes in behind them and get the runners going, and see can you get in behind this defence. But that was a really good run from Kyogo. Just the pass was just a little bit overhead.
Here's Maida, right hand side, up against Beck, comes back the way. It's a poor ball though, and Rudden able to knock it clear. McGregor there though, in front of Rudden to pick up the loose ball, and now Carter Vickers plays it square on the halfway line to Liam Scales, slides it forward. Kyogo's little flick to Greg Taylor, out to the left hand side to Palma up towards the left hand side of the ball, sends it into the penalty area. It comes off a Dundee head, and it will be another Celtic corner over on the far side this time, as their fans behind Trevor Carson's goal try to generate the atmosphere that will help their side move in front and claim the victory that they so desire. Palmer from the right hand side then, right footed, out swinger, near post ball, comes off.
Ball.
Yeah, that wasn't a good one, and O'Reilly could do nothing with the front post, behind harmlessly for a goal kick after 4 minutes of the second period. Still Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, he'd be really disappointed with the quality of the balls he's put in today from corners. There haven't been any consistency with him whatsoever. He's trying to hit that near post, but that didn't actually even reach, I don't think, the 6-yard box. And unless you get a really just a deft little touch on it, you're not going to trouble the goalkeeper.
Celtic have won all their previous 3 Boxing Day meetings with Dundee, the most recent of which was 2017. As Liam Scales picks up and plays it square on the edge of his own penalty area to Carter Vickers, who immediately slides it forward for Johnston, who does likewise to Maida. Maida now, right hand side, gets the ball into the box. Donnelly as it gets the first contact but couldn't bring it under control, and guess what, it's another Celtic corner.
That was the first time that a decent ball was played in behind that Maida couldn't run onto, but it was a poor cross, wasn't it, Kenny? He's got to put a better cross in.
Short corner taken over on the right hand side, works its way back to McGregor. Now Palma again hugging the touchline, and he comes back to Johnston in a central area, clips into the penalty area. It's a glancing header goalwards from Bernardo, but doesn't threaten Trevor Carson's goal. We've played 50 minutes at Dens Park. It's Dundee 0, Celtic 0.
Nothing has been better for Celtic in the second half. Once they get the ball out to either Carter Vickers or Liam Scales, it's that they drive in and commit a body and get past that first line of defence, Rudden and Bakayoko, or like Carter Vickers did there, quickly get the ball out to Johnson, who then releases Maeda quickly, or like he tried to release Kyogo through the middle. They're playing with a little bit more urgency for me at the start of the second half.
Yeah, it certainly feels like that, Kenny, as Carson launches the goal kick upfield. Nice touch from Beck for McCowan on the left hand side. Looks like Rudden's offside. Play will be allowed to continue. No, offside flag does go up. That one was obviously so obvious that the assistant didn't feel like it was worth letting that move develop, and Celtic get the free kick and quickly taken. McGregor plays it square just inside his own half to Scales. Down the left hand side it comes to Palma. Palma collects and then moves infield to the angle of the box into a good area in the 6-yard box. Oh, it's got in! It's slid in under Trevor Carson, and it looks like Bernardo is the man who got the crucial touch to take it past the Dundee goalkeeper. Well, I was sure that Carson was going to collect that, but somehow Bernardo has guided it past the Dundee keeper. Celtic have the breakthroughs. Dundee 0, Celtic 1.
Well, it's a really soft goal from Dundee's point of view. The goalkeeper goes down almost on one knee, and it goes right through his legs. I'm not even sure Bernardo got much of a touch on it, to be perfectly honest, but it was a good run from Bernardo. That's what we're saying in the first half. He's got to make more runs in beyond the defence, into that area, and then the pass comes from Palma. But it was a pass, and I'm not sure if he got much on it at all, but it was... I'd put Celtic in the driving seat.
Well, before we hear from Kenny, Kerridean's seen a replay. Does Bernardo have his first Celtic goal, Kerridean?
He does have his first Celtic goal, and it's a double touch. So when he first contacted on the ball, it bounced up, and then he just got his studs on it again. A double touch, and the spin took it through the goalkeeper. Quite an unusual way for him to get off the mark in his Celtic career.
That's Kerry. Well, that's the breakthrough that Celtic were craving at the start of this second period, and now Dundee have it all to do as Beck has it on the halfway line. McCowan. And now, Kenny, Dundee really have to come out, and I mean, they might not do it immediately, but certainly we'll need to see more from them in an attacking sense than we've seen in the 53 minutes up till now.
Yeah, listen, it's still too early to throw caution to the wind. They're still in the game. It's only 1-0, like you say. They're still waiting for that chance from a set play, from a counter-attack. I mean, what I would say there on that Celtic goal, it was a brilliant run for Bernardo, but it was also Taylor. Taylor goes first and he drags Donnelly out, and that frees the space now for Bernardo, and it was a really, really clever pass from Palmer. And again, when Bernardo gets beyond it, he's just stretching to get something on it. Like you say, it didn't look like much from this angle, but clearly Kerrigan's seen the replay and has a wee touch on it just to guide it past Carson. So really good, well created goal, I think, in terms of the movement and then the pass.
And Kerrigan can bring us news, I think, of a Celtic change coming.
This is big news, and it has implications possibly for Saturday's derby. Cameron Carter-Vickers is the player who's down. He was surrounded by all the Celtic players there. He was feeling the back of his leg. He's being helped to his feet just now. Welsh is coming on. Cameron Carter-Vickers is coming off, and Celtic will be hoping that this isn't too serious. But I've got to say, it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't look good, but maybe they've caught it in time. But he's obviously limping off at the moment. He's walking across the pitch and he doesn't look as if he's walking comfortably. That's the point. Young Stephen Welch will go in and he'll do a decent job in that position. But he's an important player for Celtic. Has been over the last number of years.
Yeah, Stephen Welsh on to replace him. He did miss the previous Old Firm game, having said that, and Celtic were able to keep a clean sheet and get the 3 points on that occasion at Ibrox in the first meeting of the teams this season. He's making his way straight down the touchline and down the tunnel into the changing room for treatment as Dundee come forward looking for an equaliser now. Comes to the edge of the box, Donnelly's shot. Was that hit a hand? There's a big claim in there for a handball. Dundee are absolutely adamant there was a handball. I didn't see it myself as Celtic try and play it down the left hand side. It's out of play, and so we will get an opportunity for Don Robertson to halt play and Greg Aitken, the VAR, to have a look at it. Either of you see anything in there?
No, I think it came off as almost his chest inside it. I don't think there's anything in it, to be perfectly honest. But listen, all players and all management and the fans will scream for a handball when it comes off the body of somebody.
Kerrigan, you've seen it?
Yeah, it looked like it came off a couple of Celtic players before it got to Welsh. It was Taylor, then Scales. Scales headed it. I think it looks like he's headed it straight onto the chest of Stephen Welsh. He'll be mightily relieved in his first few seconds coming on. That said, they're still having a look, and the referee at the moment is just telling the players to wait until the official decision is made by VAR Greg Aitken. But I would be surprised if this is anything other than play on.
Thanks, Kerrigan, for that insight. Kerrigan with a monitor down below, and indeed he's absolutely spot on that Don Robertson waves the Dundee throw-in to be taken. Yeah, certainly my instinct was that there wasn't a handball, but certainly the naked eye can be fooled as McCowan goes in on goal now. Past a couple of challenges, brilliant play from McCowan, eventually blocked, comes back to him, tries to get the shot off, reflected behind. So that's the first time we've really seen Dundee create anything at all. Luke McCowan, some brilliant play at the edge of the box, and eventually it's a Dundee corner.
And it was great play from McCowan. Again, we talked to him before the game. For me, he's probably Dundee's best player, has been. And when he gets in these areas, his feet are so quick and his close control is excellent. He gets the shot away, and I think it was Scales who got a really, really important block there.
Dundee corner then from the left-hand side to be taken by Beck. Dundee 0, Celtic 1. Dundee looking for a leveller, and it comes out Swinger. First header was a Celtic head, so too is the second one from Johnston. Out of the penalty area it comes as they try and move up the pitch. They'll be wanting to try and add to their advantage and not allow Dundee a glimmer of hope of getting back into this game as Boateng gets the header in just at the edge of his own penalty area. Kerr though losing out, and Celtic have it. Now it's Johnston midway inside the Dundee half, out to the right hand side for Kyogo. Angle of the box, cross goal, but Shaughnessy able to clear rather easily as Bakayoko tries to pick up possession. He's caught Kyogo there and springs straight back to his feet. In fairness, as play continues on the halfway line, it's Stephen Welsh plays it square to Scales, that new central defensive partnership in the absence of Cameron Carter-Vickers, who's departed the scene injured. Palmer now down the left-hand side, the creator yet again of the Celtic goal. He created both on Saturday against Livingston. He's got another assist to his name for that Bernardo first Celtic goal. Played square by Scales to Johnston. Kyogo on the move on the right-hand side. The Johnston ball didn't quite anticipate the Kyogo movement, but Kyogo does pick up. Tries to play it into the path there of O'Reilly. Just a little bit too much on it. And Trevor Carson able to come off his line and claim. We've played almost 58 minutes at Dens Park. It's Dundee 0, Celtic 1. Paulo Bernardo, the Celtic scorer.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a change in positional sense there. I don't know what it was, just from maybe a set piece or something, that Kyogo found himself out in the right, Maeda through the middle. I actually think that might be a good idea at times, just to change it around a wee bit, release Maeda a little bit from through that centre position, but not all the time, just to mix it up a little bit.
I remember reading at the start of the season Brendan Rodgers saying he thought Maeda was pretty much that's how he saw him, as a central striker, but he's not played there at all under Rodgers. Here's Palmer trying to find Maeda at the back post. He nods it back the way to O'Reilly, who helps it back further to Johnston at the edge of the box, plays it back to Maeda. Maeda battling away with McCowan. Maeda's done well. It's picked up by the goal scorer Bernardo, and now it's O'Reilly clipping it into a dangerous area. Shaughnessy with a good defensive header, helped on by Cameron, picked up by Taylor though, back to the edge of the box for Palmer. Taylor once more, byline into the 6-yard box. Good interception there by McGee, I think it was, at the front post, and it comes back to Palmer, and now McGregor once more. 59 gone, 1-0 Celtic leads. Certainly a deserved lead, you couldn't argue anything other than that, as Dundee have had to work particularly hard to stay in the game. Here's Maeda, right hand side, turns away from Beck, gets the shot off, but it's well wide of the near post. He just dragged it as he's got a sight of goal, and it remains Dundee 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, he's well off for the day, Maeda, I've got to say. You know, he's like a player that's been out injured for a while. He needs to get games, he needs to get himself back into that sort of, and it's about confidence too.
And he's actually came up against a player right at the top of his game. You know, he's got someone there who's clearly able to match him for pace. He's maybe a little bit ahead in terms of clever and how to actually defend Maeda in terms of his positioning. And he's, like you say, just not at the top of his game at the moment, Maeda.
Yeah, he did have that spell out when he was, well, first of all suspended, but also injured in the exact same challenge that got him dismissed against Atletico Madrid. But back into the starting lineup for the last couple, as Kerr does well down the right-hand side, let go by Rudden. Bakayoko won't get there, and Scales is there on the right-hand side as Dundee came forward to turn it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Joe Hart. Just beyond the hour mark, 1-0 Celtic lead. They won't feel comfortable, I wouldn't imagine, until they've got a second goal to give them that bit of a cushion. And although Dundee haven't been a massive threat, they've shown a couple of glimpses just since having gone behind Luke McCowan particularly, that he might be able to do something. But here comes Palmer down the left, in slides Kerr. Good challenge from Cammy Kerr, right wing back row. Kenny, I guess you'll have played with Cammy Kerr when you were here, and I've mentioned it a few times in comments, but I always think he's such a dependable player. He's not always a first pick under a variety of managers, but I think he always turns in a pretty solid 7 out of 10 whenever you ask him to play.
You know, he's very, very reliable. He's aggressive. He's a decent enough defender. He's got great legs. So again, in these counter-attacking chances, again, come the end of this game, he'll still be able to bomb on. He'll still have that energy. Like you say, he finds himself in sometimes competing with players that might be a little bit better technically, or might have a better distribution or whatever. But when he plays, he's never ever going to let anybody down.
Yeah, he's Mr. Dundee as well, isn't he? He's
absolutely
a boyhood fan and longest-serving player now, I think, as well, as Bakayoko tries to make some headway down the right-hand side, but Taylor's back there and plays it off the Dundee striker and out for a throw-in. Would you imagine we'll see some Dundee changes in the not too distant future, Kenny?
Well, listen, when I come in and do this kind of thing, I always kind of mark and I have a look at the bench to see who could potentially impact it. You're looking at Scott Tiffany again. He seems to be a regular sub for Tony Docherty. He puts him on in these types of situations. You've got Zach Robinson's another forward. Again, I would maybe expect him to come on. He's done pretty well in the games I've seen him on, impacting the game well. So again, I'm looking at Bakayoko. He's not done too much within the game. That might be a substitution that Tony Docherty might look at.
Yes, indeed. 9,144 inside Dens Park this afternoon, and they are watching Celtic lead by a 1-0, and they are looking to move 5 points clear of Rangers again, albeit having played 2 games more. Here's Palmer, left-hand side of the box. Again, it's a good challenge from Kerr at the expense, though, of a corner to Celtic. And this near side, the Celtic left, as we look at it from the back of the main stand. I wonder if we'll have a different vantage point in the next couple of seasons if Dundee's new stadium plans come to fruition. I certainly hope they will consider the commentators when they're putting that all together and not put these big stanchions in the way. But clearly this is a stadium built many years ago, as Palmer sends another corner into the side netting, and the away fans not particularly happy with that. To be fair, I mean, his corners haven't been great today, Packy, and I've heard mixed reviews of him, but I have to say, and certainly if you look at his numbers, I think they back this up. I think he's been a good addition to the Celtic squad.
He's been a decent addition. I don't think he's a Jota, that's for sure. I think he's been a decent player. He'd be one that you would bring in because of those numbers probably, but you would probably still want maybe another better quality, I think, overall.
Celtic are going to make some more changes, which we'll get to in just a moment, as Donnelly picks up at the back for Dundee, plays it forward for Beck, who plays it infield to Rudden. Sorry, it was McCowan across there battling away for possession. The ball's out of play, so that gives us a chance to head back down to Kerry Nidsan for news of the Celtic changes.
Yeah, it's going to be O for Kyogo and Yang for Maeda in the next couple of minutes. Big changes for Celtic again.
I mean, talking about Palmer, Packy, for me, he's been better value. He's been a better performer than any of the other Celtic wingers this season.
I think I've put him in the category of Haksabanovic, that type of player who could come off the bench and make a real impact for that period, but he's definitely not in Jota or the great wingers that we've seen at Celtic over the years, but a decent effective player.
Celtic trying to get the ball in the deck, but it's eventually Beck is caught by Johnston, but play allowed to continue with Rudden in possession. Sliding challenge there by Welsh, but it breaks back to Rudden just at the edge of the centre circle. Bernardo's nicked it off on, but unfairly, says the referee, and it will be a Dundee free kick, and that gives Celtic the opportunity to make those changes that Carradine told us of. And there's the number of O being held up to replace Kyogo, who will endure another goalless game. Should have scored certainly in the first period, and uncharacteristically for him, certainly by his standards of the past couple of seasons, he sent the opportunity wide, and it's O that comes on for him. It gets a little hug there from his manager Brendan Rodgers, and then Yang will come on for Maeda, who has found it tough going against Owen Beck, certainly on that right flank. On he comes Yang to replace Maeda. 25 minutes to play. Dundee have a free kick inside the centre circle as they search for a leveller here at Dens Park. Joe Hart has not had a save to make, by my reckoning. The free kick's played short to Cameron on the left-hand side, then he sends it in at a different angle. Well defended initially, and then second ball as well by Greg Taylor. Beck, though, retrieves it, but then he's lost it to Palmer, and a good interception from McCowan, who then takes a chance against Bernardo and then plays it to Cameron. Good bit of play from McCowan when he was taking a chance at the back there, but trusted himself to have the skill to get beyond the Celtic players, and he did. And Dundee still have possession. That's a hopeful ball from Cammy Kerr. Zach Rudden's not going to catch that. It's going to go out for a Celtic goal kick. 21 minutes gone in the second period. It's Dundee 0, Celtic 1. It does look like Dundee are getting some substitutes ready down there.
And you know, that was Owen Beck, as much as he's been very good today. He's got away with one there. That should be, he didn't need to put it that close to McCowan. He should have been taken out of the game, and I don't know who it was running through, like if it was Bernardo or O'Reilly or who was trying to get through to go on the end of it. That should have been put through for a one-on-one with Trevor Carson.
Absolutely, it was a brilliant opportunity for them, and it was just a bad pass, wasn't it?
And that's the quality you've been talking about, Packy. In those moments, they're the big moments of the game. You have to make the most of that. That was an easy pass to send a teammate through one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Ball played forwards down the Dundee right, but Rudden, he's had little joy out of Liam Scales this afternoon. And Dundee yet to trouble the Celtic goal as Johnston builds down the right-hand side, and it's Yang getting a first involvement on that right flank, tries to get it in at the near post, but Beck is equal to that and knocks it behind for a Celtic corner. Will Yang have any better luck against Beck than Maida did? Carradine, news of those Dundee changes?
Yep, Zach Robinson will be coming on, and Scott Tiffany, not sure who's coming off yet, but those two certainly coming on.
Thanks, Carradine. Celtic corner then from the right-hand side, midway point in the second half, and still with a slender advantage. Celtic, they don't look like they're necessarily playing with any nerves, but they would like a second goal, no doubt about that. Can they create it here? There's a good interception there by McGee as McCowan just whacks it forward, now to play a bit further up the park, and Dundee will make those changes now, so we'll see who's about to come off, but it is Robinson and Tiffany, as I think Kenny pinpointed both of those. So once again, he's done his homework and he's done it well. Full marks, Kenny.
Bringing back Oyoko for you as well.
There's a job in there somewhere for you, Kenny, no doubt about it.
I didn't want to say that, but
and off comes Rudden as well to be replaced by Tiffany. So two attacking players coming on, two attacking players coming off. Not a huge change tactically, you wouldn't imagine, from Tony Docherty, but his side are still in this, and while it's still just 1-0, they'll feel they have a chance of snatching something from it. But they need to change things somewhat. They need to do more in an attacking sense. But that's easier said than done against this Celtic side controlling the ball. And here's Palma running at Kerr up towards the angle of the box, trying to take him on the outside. Kerr does well, slides in and knocks it behind, and it is yet another Celtic corner. I've certainly lost count of how many we've had, but I think it's got to be around 20.
I've got to say the wing backs of Dundee has come out on top in most 1v1s today.
Just came words out of my mouth there, Packy, absolutely.
Corner kick though from the left into the near post. O'Reilly trying to help it on. Goal kick is the decision from Don Robertson. 24 minutes gone in this second period. Dundee 0, Celtic 1. Celtic looking for an 8th straight victory over today's opponents. The last time Dundee avoided defeat against Celtic was down at Celtic Park in 2018, April 2018. And last avoided defeat here in April 2016. That was a goalless draw. They've lost 7 here since then. They're on course to lose another one unless they can do something about it in the closing 20 minutes or so. Palma though is taken to the deck by Cammy Kerr, and that'll be a Celtic free kick, and it's going to be at the very least a word in the year, if not a yellow card shown to Cammy Kerr. I think he's saying this is your last warning.
And I think that's enough. He was just done by a good bit of skill there with Palma. He dips one way, goes the other way. Cammy Kerr just kind of dangles a lazy leg out and brings him down. I think the free kick was enough.
Celtic in possession then, forward on the right hand side, and now it's Yang up against Beck, comes inside, plays a short ball for Johnston, right hand side of the penalty area, looking to try and find a way through a packed Dundee defence. Still has it, Alistair Johnston, right hand side, moves away from Beck, who slides in to prevent the initial cross, then gets a good foot in, but it comes back to Callum McGregor. Just under 20 to play. Dundee 0, Celtic 1 as Taylor picks up at the edge of the Dundee box. Forward from Johnston to O'Reilly, right hand side, good ball in. Cammy Kerr is inside the 6-yard box to knock it away from under his own crossbar and behind for another Celtic corner, but not taking any chances. It was a good clearance, you'd have to say. Corner's quickly taken. Back it comes to Palma, in at the near post to the 6-yard box. It's away by Zach Robinson. Taylor comes forward. Now Palma on the edge of the penalty area, left hand side, looking for a way through. Back it comes to Bernardo. Square ball to Alistair Johnston, steps forward from the back, out to the right hand side now for Yang, up against Beck once more, up to the edge of the penalty area on the right hand side, plays it back the way for O'Reilly. Yang once more, right hand side. Johnston again plays the wall pass with Yang, then back to Callum McGregor. Celtic looking to kill the game off with a second goal. Scales and Welsh exchange passes at the back and then out to the right hand side for Johnston. Now Yang again trying to get the better of Beck. Back comes Cameron to help out. Yang still has it, gets to the byline, gets the cross in, away by Donnelly, only as far as Johnston. Celtic keeping up the pressure. Out to O'Reilly on the angle of the box on the right hand side. Cameron with him, trying to get onto the left. whips in the near post shot. Donnelly was keeping his arms by his side and got the block in and knocked out of play on the far side by Beck. 27 minutes played in the second period. Dundee 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, just gone back a couple of minutes ago, there was a great run from O'Reilly to the byline, and a good ball across the 6-yard box, and nobody getting into that near post. I think it was Ode was sort of almost on his heels.
Here's O'Reilly, angle of the box, tries to stand it up, but it's away by McGee, only as far as Taylor. Bakayoko's clearance is a poor one. Can all make something of it. He gets the room for the shot. He only needed half a yard but couldn't hit the target. Behind for a goal kick. Dundee are going to make at least one more change. Kerdine Idsan.
Yeah, Finlay Robertson coming on. I wonder if it might be Lyle Cameron coming off.
Yep, that's a good shout, Kerdine. It is indeed the number 10 being flashed there, and number 19 Finlay Robertson, another product of the Dundee Youth Academy, which is quite a number of the current first team squad have come through the ranks here at Dundee, who, like their near neighbours Dundee United, have got a good academy. It's a good policy, and they're not slow to put them into the starting 11, or at least the match day squads here. Finlay Robertson on then to replace Finlay Robertson, I should say, on to replace Lyle Cameron. We've got 17 minutes left. No real sign as yet of a Dundee comeback to thwart Celtic on their quest to move 5 points clear, but certainly it's Celtic who are looking the more likely to score the second goal in the game, which would certainly be a crucial one. Here comes Palmer, left hand side of the box, left footed cross to the back post, and it just nodded behind by Donnelly. Celtic corner, right hand side, about just over 16 to play. Dundee 0, Celtic 1.
It's almost like, Kenny, I don't know, Celtic need to work on the crossing and finishing sessions for the rest of the week.
Well, I'll tell you, they're definitely missing. I think on the last one coming this way, I think Palmer getting at that back post, something I think Abada does really, really well. He attacks the back post well from the opposite side.
That was actually Celtic's 18th corner, so I slightly over-egged the stats, but certainly a lot as O'Reilly picks up inside the penalty area, knocked away by Zach Robinson, who's all the way back inside his own penalty area, doing the defending. Only Scott Tiffany being left upfield at the moment by Dundee, which is probably one player more than they've had upfield for the most part, in fairness, as Celtic prepares to take what is now a 19th corner. Right hand side, Palma, shocked to see he was leaning on Welsh there, who hit the deck, nothing given, breaks to the edge of the box. It's O'Reilly with the quick feet. Welsh now out to the left hand side, and it's just inside the penalty area. Back in field he goes to Callum McGregor. Quarter of an hour left in the game. Dundee still trail by a goal to nil. Nice little flick by Palma into Bernardo, the match winner as things stand. Palma once more, right hand side, sends a good ball in. Couldn't connect. It will come to Taylor, back into the 6-yard box, away this time by Cammy Kerr. Dundee living dangerously, but still just a goal down, and we'll still feel there is a way back into this game. But you'd have to say, Packy, there's if Celtic don't go on and clinch the 3 points, they'll be absolutely furious with themselves, such has been their domination.
But again, I'm still thinking, has the goalkeeper made 5-6 saves? No.
Here's Dundee on the counter then. Robinson collects the pass from Tiffany, trying to get bodies forward to help. It's Robinson midway inside the Celtic half. Good bit of movement from him, good footwork. Back to Tiffany, right hand side of the box. Now it's Robertson. Robertson has Kerr outside of him, uses him as a decoy. Midway inside the Celtic half, it's played forward and out off a Celtic head for a Dundee throw-in. Just under 15 to play. Dundee 0, Celtic 1. Throw-in is going to be left to Joe Shaughnessy to launch this in to the Celtic penalty area. It's the Celtic fans who are making the noise here at Dundee, so they're side leading by a goal to nil. The Dundee captain lining up the long throw-in from the right-hand side, about 30 yards from the corner flag he is. Dundee with quite a few bodies in navy blue inside that box. Near post box, flicked on by Donnelly, cleared away by O'Reilly. Collected by Boating, midway inside the Celtic half. Back out to Shaughnessy, right hand side. That's not a bad ball in. Climbing above scales there was McGee, but it's cleared away by Celtic. Can they go on the counter themselves here? It's one-on-one here with Boating, who's trying to get back at him. Into the penalty area comes right hand side. Dundee getting bodies back, Celtic getting bodies forward. Claims for handball from the Celtic crowd, but it looked to just be played straight off, maybe the top of the arm, if anything, from O, and it's cleared away for a Celtic throw-in on the far side. 13 to play, Dundee 0, Celtic 1.
And another chance goes a begging to put the game to bed. Again, it was a hopeful ball in the end from O. He should have probably just slid it across along the deck into the supporting player, but no, he tried to lift it, and I think it went straight in the face of the Dundee defender.
Kenny, he almost didn't know what to do.
That's exactly the fact. It was, can I say, it was a hopeful pass more than anything.
Here comes Celtic again though, and it's Taylor always trying to get forward to help his side. Bernardo now, angle of the box on the left hand side, comes back out to Palma. He plays it to the back post, headed high in the air there by Donnelly, taken down by Yang, still inside the box. Johnston plays the wall pass there with O'Reilly, right hand side of the penalty area. Still Johnston, comes back into the box away from Beck, who recovers well to get a boot in, and then helped away by Donnelly as Celtic prepare another change. Geraldine?
Yeah, it's going to be Mikey Johnston coming on. I'm pretty sure Luis Palma's time's about to be up.
Yeah, that would seem a sensible call in the sense of Mikey Johnston's position, and the other winger already having been changed as McGregor plays it square now to Greg Taylor, about 35 yards from goal. Now it is Palma. Is this his last act of the game? What can he create here? Palma, left hand side of the 6-yard box. Good challenge again by Cammy Kerr. Robertson won't keep it in play though. It's a Celtic throw-in down near the corner flag on the left hand side. 12 to play, Celtic leading by a goal to nil as Mikey Johnston does indeed for the Honduran Luis Palma. Mikey Johnston's had a decent number of appearances lately, Packy. He's again, like a number of the wingers, sometimes flattered to receive.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's an out-and-out winger, that's for sure. I think he's better when he it's up to him also to make an impact. If he drifts on the inside a little bit and plays through that sort of inside left or inside right position, he can always come wide at times, but I think if he tugs the byline, it's almost like as if he's got too much to do.
Here comes Celtic right hand side, and it's Yang trying to get the better of Owen Beck, who's in another terrific game for Dundee, but he's side trailed by a goal to nil as O'Reilly weaves his way into the penalty area, has to come back the way to Bernardo, whose goal separates the side. 11 to play. Yang, that's a brilliant flick from Johnston, but Yang just won't quite get on the end of that, but it will be a corner. He put enough pressure there on McCowan, I think it was, who nudges it behind, and Celtic do have their 20th corner of the game as they look to put this game to bed.
Well, it's going to be a different delivery, isn't it? Palma's off the pitch now, so let's see if they can get the ball into a better position than what they've been doing most of this game.
Right hand side then, I think it's O'Reilly who's gone over to take this left, swings it in, and swinger glanced on. I think it was Welsh who got his head to it, but just didn't quite get the direction on it, and it's drifted behind on this near side, the right hand post to Trevor Carson for a goal kick as Dundee have a player down inside their own 6-yard box. They've got 10 left to get something from this game. Kenny, how do they go about doing it?
Well, no, listen, he's made a few changes, Tony has, but he's not really kind of threw caution at the windows yet. Even Tiffany going up alongside Robinson, he's more of a winger or someone who kind of plays round about a striker, so I'm not sure if he maybe, again, even the last 5 to go, do you take a centre-back off and put another attacking player on and just try and get other bodies at the top end of the pitch to give you a platform to maybe build an attack, not even to score a goal, but to try and get you up the pitch, to maybe get a set or whatever. But at the moment in time, they're kind of he's hedging his bets with them. I think he's hoping that they can maybe get back into it, but no really quite made the moves to try and give his team the chance to do it.
Can't quite see who this is that's down inside the box.
I think it's Zach Robinson.
Yeah, it's Robinson.
Oh, it's Robinson.
Yeah, I think he's gone back to defend that corner, and he's been wiped out at the near post.
And just on that corner, it was a really good, a decent delivery from Matt O'Reilly, and Welsh is getting across, but that's landing, Packy, inside the 6-yard box at the back post. Like, there's no coverage at the back post. When you play those front post corners, it's sometimes hard to score, but it's the second phase when someone just gets a glance on it, you've got someone arriving towards the back post for a tap in, but there was no Celtic player anywhere in sight.
I'm going to go back in history now. I'm going to go back in history to a man that scored so many goals in that position was Bobby Lennox. I played with him, he was in the debut. He just sat in there and he found himself at the back post, and it was almost a tap-in so many times. Just by, he didn't start in there, but he always found himself in that position.
Just arrives in there, you go, because when you play those front post corners, firstly, that run towards the front post, if the delivery and the timing's right, is very, very hard to mark. But it is also hard to score. So when you're getting that glance, all you're trying to do is guide it towards the back post. So if it goes in, great, but if you've got someone arriving, like you say, it's a tap-in.
Yeah, well, Carradine's had a view of the incident that led to the treatment that Zach Robinson's required, Carradine.
Yeah, just at that corner, Zach Robinson clattered into the incoming Liam Scales. That must have been a sore one. There was a head knock, and as well, I think his right hip or lower back, that's what he's holding just now. They're looking to the subs bench to see if somebody's going to come on and replace him, but at the moment, they're going to, I was going to say give him the benefit of the doubt, but actually, I think they are going to make another substitution, Dundee, and I think it would be Mo Sila coming on.
Thanks, Carradine. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Sila's certainly stripped, ready to come on, whether it's for Robinson or whether they were going to make the change.
I think they were going to make the change earlier. I've seen the manager talking to him. But
here's Mikey Johnston cutting in from the left-hand side, looking to get that Celtic second goal. He's got one! He has got one! It's escaped the grasp of Trevor Carson, and that is game over now, surely, as Mikey Johnston came in from the left flank. Left fly from 25 yards, didn't necessarily seem like it was going to be the shot that would make its way past the Dundee keeper, but he couldn't keep it out, low to his left. It is Dundee 0, Celtic 2.
Well, first and foremost, I think Trevor Carson will be very disappointed he didn't tip that round the post or knock it away or hold on to it, because I think it was within his grasp. But that's what I was talking about, Mikey Johnston, coming in from the left, driving across that edge of, 20, 23 yards out, edge of the 18-yard box, and with his pace, and then getting a shot on target. At least he got it on target, and he ends up with a goal which puts the game to bed for Celtic.
Yeah, I'll be really disappointed. Listen, on both of the goals, I think, even again, I've not really had a good look at the first goal, but it definitely looked soft. But that one there, Mikey Johnston, watched him a lot over the last kind of month or so. He's had a lot more game time. He's positive when he gets it. Sometimes he does do too much, like he beats a man and maybe waits for him to get back to beat him again. This time, coming in off the left-hand side, drives inside on the right foot. Like I say, Trevor Carson should save it, but you don't shoot, you don't score.
Double change for Dundee. Zach Robinson is making way. Kerry, you can just fill us in on what's happening down there.
Yeah, Zach Robinson, the sub, is being subbed, and Ryan Howley and Mo Sila both coming on.
Thanks, Kerry. So that is Mikey Johnston's first goal of the season. I'm just trying to see if I've got a note of when he last scored for Celtic. It's some time ago, that's for sure. I don't even think I've got a note of it. It was, certainly wasn't last season, because he didn't play at Celtic, and it wasn't the season before. So I'll have to look back my record books for that one. But certainly Mikey Johnston has come off the bench and got a crucial second goal, which you've got to say, unless Dundee can come up with some remarkable comeback here in the closing few minutes, then they are going to fall to defeat, as Joe Shaughnessy though lines up the long throw and into the near post, flicked on by Silla. Hart takes the second ball and is able to clutch that one, and my good friend and colleague here, Gavin McCafferty of Press Association, has shown me that it was 1st of December 2019 against Ross County that Mikey Johnston got that last goal for Celtic, as Beck is penalised and booked for a challenge on Yang on the right hand side of the box, as Celtic look for a third goal, but they are surely coasting to victory now, Packy.
Yeah, I think they are, but that was a good run. Quick ball from Joe Hart, of course, threw it out, and away they go down the right hand side. I was looking for Yang just to play that ball into the space, but he took an extra touch, allowed Owen Beck to get back. Obviously it's a foul, he's got booked for it, Owen Beck, but Celtic can just take their time now and just, I think, manage this game out. They don't have to go for another goal, although goal difference may come into it, as we could go through this league in the last stages.
Will be a Celtic free kick then, right hand side of the penalty area. They are heading into the Old Firm fixture, certainly ahead of Rangers. Depends what Rangers do tomorrow in terms of what that gap will be. It will be 5 come the close of play this evening. Rangers will have played 2 games fewer. Join us tomorrow evening for commentary of either that or Hibs Hearts, as O'Reilly sends in the free kick and is diverted behind by Donnelly for another Celtic corner. We've got sports scene highlights tonight, incidentally, of this one, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel, followed, I have to say, by the latest in our instalment of the sports scene revisited programmes, Celtic against Inverness Cally Thistle in the cup final from this year. That came off the arm of Shaughnessy as Scales headed it on at the near post. Actually, it's Welsh who got the header in, but Shaughnessy certainly handled it. Whether it was a handball worthy of a penalty kick is another matter for the officials and VAR to decide, but play rages on. Wasn't awarded by Don Robertson as Celtic pick up once more. We've got 3 to play. Here comes up to the edge of the penalty area. Step over, left foot shot, pushed away by Carson to the edge of his box, picked up by Johnston. Now Yang onto the left foot. Can he get the shot away? He's trying to get it onto the right foot instead. Plays it back to the right hand side for Johnston, who helps it back into the area. Shaughnessy out. Robertson picks up at the edge of his own penalty area. Now Silla forced back the way, goes back to his goalkeeper Trevor Carson, who, as the guys say, will probably be a shade disappointed with both goals that have gone past them this afternoon. A goalkeeper of his calibre would hope to keep them out. Here comes Celtic again, looking for a third. Taylor gets another bite at it, left hand side of the box, back to Johnston, who's already on the score sheet. Good save this time from Carson, diving away to his left to prevent it going in for Mickey Johnston's second of the afternoon. It will be a corner and it will remain Dundee 0, Celtic 2.
Yeah, it was a good save. It was one of them. He's bending it down round the goalkeeper's left hand side with that right peg. Again, Mikey Johnston on the inside has got that ability, no doubt about it.
Corner kick to be taken by Matt O'Reilly, right hand side, glanced on again at the near post by Scales, and nothing comes of it, and it will be a Dundee goal kick. Just under 2 minutes of the 90 left, plus stoppage time, of course, but Celtic very much heading for a deserved 3 points, Kenny Miller.
Yeah, and like you say, deserve it. They were dominant right for the first whistle, missed 2 or 3 decent opportunities, in fact really good opportunities through Palmer and Keogh in the first half, but they've just got the goals at good times. Again, 2-0, it's probably a fair scoreline, doesn't flatter Celtic at all, but again, it's not too punishing on Dundee.
Yeah, just as they did against Livingston, they got an early goal in the second half and they've added to it, heading for another 2-0 victory to just build that bit more momentum going into the big game at Celtic Park on Saturday. Of course, we'll have live coverage of that right here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland and all across our platforms. Join us for that when it comes, as Celtic look to see out the last few minutes. Can they add further to their tally? It has been almost completely one-sided here at Dens Park. It would be folly to try to argue otherwise. It's been a dominant performance. Yes, Packy has pointed out that Trevor Carson hasn't been called into action to make huge saves very often, but he has been beaten twice. He's pulled off a couple of other decent saves, and Celtic are heading for the victory as they are gifted possession at the edge of the Dundee box. Might come yet for Bernardo, trying to burrow his way through with a little bit of skill as well. Doesn't quite come off, and Dundee able to get it up to the halfway line, but you must say Dundee have been a blunt attacking force. Here comes Celtic. Taylor inside the 6-yard box, across it goes. Shaughnessy able to clear into the final few seconds of the 90 minutes. The fourth official just a way to get his board to show us how much will be added on as Bernardo and Johnston exchange passes. Comes to Johnston, 3-0! Mikey Johnston at the double from about 12 yards out, central area, rifles it low past Trevor Carson. That will be that. Dundee 0, Celtic 3.
Well, where has Michael Johnston come from? 2 goals and again operating on the inside and right in the middle of the box, and that'll give him huge confidence, I've got to say, because that was the missing part of Mikey Johnston's game, that final product for me, and I just think that he's operating more. Somebody's obviously said to him, get in off that line, get into positions, and he's got the technical ability which was a good finish that time. Carson had no chance in the goal, Kenny.
Yeah, it was. Again, very much like Palma off their side. They do like to go inside on their right foot, on their favoured foot. They can go down the line, but again, he drives in and he looks to combine. I think it was with Bernardo. And yeah, he gets the break of the ball. When it gets in front of him, gets a good touch out his feet and slams it in the bottom corner. And for this one, like you say, Packy, absolutely no chance for Trevor Carson. And 3-0 Celtic and 3 points as well.
Yeah, they are well wrapped up as a late Christmas present for the fans who have made the journey up to Dundee, as the chant of "We shall not be moved" is belted out by the visiting fans, and it should certainly be an interesting next few months in the title race if Rangers can keep the pressure on. But Celtic getting back to winning ways against Livingston and continuing that here this afternoon. It will make it 41 without defeat against Dundee, going all the way back to a defeat in 2001 at Celtic Park when Fabian Caballero notched a double despite Zura Kishinishvili's sending off in the first half. They were able to see out the victory on that occasion, but it has never looked anything really other than a Celtic victory, certainly since the first goal went in at the start of the second period.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I think Celtic is, apart from Callum McGregor giving the ball away in a bad area, it was a strike over the crossbar, but they've managed the game well. You know, they've never really been under any threat from counter attack or even when the ball was played forward. I think they've dealt with all of that, so they've been tidy in that department, and that allowed them then to control the game. Lots and lots of passing, lots of movement, lots of passing. Maybe a wee bit critical of them, maybe not creating enough chances, especially in the first half. But once they've got their goal, their first goal, I think the game was never in any doubt whatsoever.
It's out for a Celtic throw-in down in this near side. I'm not sure if I mentioned there's 8 minutes to be added on, which we are into right now. I'm not quite sure where they've got the 8 minutes from.
That injury maybe to
there was a Zach Robinson one, wasn't it? Yeah, nonetheless, I'm not sure. I guess with all the substitutions as well. But Celtic certainly cruising to a victory that will take them 5 clear at the top, with Rangers playing against Ross County tomorrow. Dundee will stay in 7th, a couple of points above Aberdeen, but 3 below Hibernian, with 1 game in hand now on them. There's a shot just past Trevor Carson's right-hand post. And the keeper was again a little bit slow to get down. Was that that got that shot off? On the angle of the box, and almost finding the bottom corner, just the wrong side of the post. As far as he's concerned, it remains Dundee 0, Celtic 3 deep in stoppage time.
Yeah, had he scored for there, it would have been an incredible effort. Gets a touch, makes a good little run in behind the centre back, gets a touch and just gets a snapshot away across Trevor Carson, but just pulls it past the far post.
Kamikea lofts it forward. Well, and Dundee lost 3-0 at Celtic Park, and they're losing 3-0 here. But here's Howley finding Tiffany inside the penalty area. Can they get a consolation? Tiffany overruns it. It's unlike him. He lost control of the ball. He's usually so good with the ball at his feet, moving at pace, but he couldn't keep that one under control. And Celtic see it out to this near side, albeit Dundee have won possession back, and it's Silla on the angle of the box, right hand side, looking to try and engineer a bit of room. Now it's Donnelly out to the left for Beck. Closed down by Johnston. Oh, he's lost his footing, and Johnston able to move free, crossing the halfway line. Beck trying to get back at him as Johnston comes forward. Ball in for, good challenge in there by McGee, and he does knock it behind for a corner, but it could have been worse after Beck's first real mistake of the game. He's played well, but he was caught in possession there, and Johnston and almost punishing him.
Yeah, they were again. It's the second time actually he's lost it in a kind of dangerous area that's led to a Celtic counter. The one before where Palma should have released his partner to go through there and goal, but listen, he gets up, he reacts and gets back.
In comes a corner from the right hand side. O'Reilly's ball headed away out of the penalty area. We're into the 6th minute of 8 to be added on here at Dens Park. Dundee 0, Celtic 3.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think they're trying to ruin my prediction of 3-0. There's the last couple of minutes there on these counters.
So have you got, not only you got scoreline right, have you got every single substitution right as well, Kenny? Just to clarify.
On fire.
Good for you. Did you get all the Christmas cracker quiz questions right as well?
Nah, we never had crackers in the household this year.
Kenny, what a Scrooge.
So have you got a prediction then for next week then?
I have, yes. I'll keep that to myself.
Keep that one up your sleeve for now. Here's Johnston, who's on a hat-trick. Slides it forward though for Taylor inside the penalty area. Back to Johnston it comes on the angle of the box, fully confidence now. A couple of little tricks, tries to stab it into the area, comes back to him, blocked by Kerr. Now it's Howley, one of the Dundee substitutes, gets it up to McCowan, who hasn't been able to show himself as an attacking force in this game and just miskicks it out of play for a Celtic throw in left hand side. We're into 7th minute of added on time. Celtic very much deserved winners here, and it was just a matter of when, not if. It felt like that they got the breakthrough, and once they did, they've been able to add to that a couple of times. Paulo Bernardo with his first Celtic goal, and Mikey Johnston with his first Celtic goals in 4 years or thereabouts.
Well, the thing is, you know, he's made an impact coming on today, Mikey Johnston, you know, coming off the bench, and that's all you can ask. That's all you can ask for a player. I think the bench now is such an important part of the game. You know, when you can bring on 4 or 5 substitutes in the game, if you've got that quality on the bench, and they do make a difference, especially as a team gets tired, the opposition gets tired, and that's really important.
And particularly at this time of year as well, Pal, when you've watched so many games over a short space of time, and even going into this kind of period when you're competing in the Champions League, and it's a lot of fixtures in December, so it's good we've got a strong bench that you can go to, that can come on, like you say, make an impact.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers did say pre-match he thought the bench would be important today. Well, Mikey Johnston certainly come off and made a difference. Here he is once more. He's going for a hat-trick. He tried to bend it in at the far post from the angle of the box on the left-hand side. Absolutely entitled to go for it, especially at 3-0 up, having notched 2 already, but that one was wide, and it remains in the final minute of stoppage time. Dundee 0, Celtic 3.
Well, the difference here is he's playing over on the left-hand side. You know, before he's played over on the right-hand side, and he always had to try to beat a player to get a ball into the box. And here he's allowed to come on the inside, and he's made an impact by doing that. And that's 2 goals, and that shot there wasn't far off target either with his right foot.
Full time at Dens Park. Celtic go 5 clear at the top with a terrific second half performance, eventually breaking down Dundee's resistance after 52 minutes. It was Paulo Bernardo who latched on to Luis Palma's ball inside the Dundee defence, and he got just enough contact on the ball to poke it beyond Trevor Carson, almost through the goalkeeper. And that was the opening goal, and the crucial goal, you'd have to say. After that, it wasn't really a case of the floodgates opening. Dundee remained resolute until the closing stages, and on came Mikey Johnston to grab a couple of goals, his first in Celtic colours in 4 years. His first one, a shot from 25 yards, which perhaps shouldn't have beaten Trevor Carson, but it did, away to the left of the diving goalkeeper to make it 2-0, and the points by that point were safe. And then in injury time, Johnston once more, a better effort, this time a drilled effort, low past Carson that the keeper couldn't have got to make it 3-0 and add a little bit of gloss to the scoreline. But certainly, without question, a deserved victory to ensure that Celtic will go into the Old Firm game on Saturday at the top of the table. By how many points? We're not quite sure until Rangers play Ross County tomorrow, but they lead by 5 right now as Brendan Rodgers' side records successive victories against Livingston and Dundee. It finishes here at Dens Park. Dundee 0, Celtic 3.
On digital radio.